What's up, everybody? Clean. Cheers, boys. Welcome to episode 41. Tonight, it's Three Rings Brewery night. If you've noticed, we got a new guy on the couch, our special guest, Ian, the head brewer.
Welcome.
Woo! Three Rings Brewery out of McPherson, Kansas. We'll chat some more with him. Let's hit that intro. What's up?
How much you guys were drinking that you guys don't remember giving each other physical shit, not just emotional shit.
What do I do now? I don't remember that.
We don't know what to do. Hey, what's up, everybody? Like I said, tonight we got Three Rings Brewery in the house. Ian here, our head brewer. He's hooking us up with a little info, a little beer, all the goodies. Tonight we got, he brought up the Vertigo IPA. The Yankee Rose Blonde, and then I know the name of the last one, but I'm going to keep it a secret. He brought us up one that's only on tap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, you can't get it in cans, but it's an experimental thing. He
around.
put it in a can for us, just for us.
Just for you.
That's right. No, he did bring us some cans of those.
No. It was for us. It was for us.
It was for you.
Yeah, I said
Don't ruin the myth.
that. But yeah, I do want to give...
Like episode 3.
The mystery.
It doesn't exist.
I was like, what are you talking about? It doesn't exist. I do want to give a couple shout-outs real quick from last time. A bunch of comments, likes, everything like that. Davin, Julie, Josh, Junior, Brad, David, Jeremy, and Will. All you guys were awesome. Keeping the comments going. Clicking that like button. That always helps us out. Actually, Raw & Sons Brewing. We did their Adios Pantalones last episode, and they gave us a like on the video, so that was awesome with them.
Very white of you.
Yeah, I am. I'm white.
Pantalones.
Look, everything is super white of me. Also, shout out to Luke, our random special guest. Just showing up, sitting on the couch. That was kind of weird, but
that was weird.
Shout out to him for coming and joining us. We did have a couple new likes, and I think some of these I may have said, but I wanted to make sure I got them in there just in case I missed them. I'd rather do them twice. Tommy, Matt, Luke, and Leslie just joined like 2 hours ago. Do you know Leslie? She's from McPherson. Leslie, what was the last name? Chris, do you remember?
Bowman.
Leslie Bowman. I don't know. I'm assuming she's a big fan of Three Rings because she joined like shortly after good old Ian here gave us a shout out from Three Rings Brewing. So that was awesome.
Bowman, Samantha Doane.
I just saw Adam Boyer. Tell us about how your powerlifting meet.
Yeah, I would say right off the bat, I want to thank Chandler, David, Julie, and Justin for joining in. Like right off the bat, you guys are awesome. We got Ian with us. If you didn't catch on, and I do want to give a super huge shout out. You said tomorrow?
No,
Yesterday.
yesterday. It was Logan's birthday.
So happy birthday, Logan.
He's 22 now.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he's just now old enough to drink.
He's 22 years old, 8 foot tall, and can eat like 37 pounds of food in a single sitting. That's Logan in like the best description ever.
He's my hero.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, welcome everybody, episode 41. We're starting off with the Yankee Rose Blonde Ale. So it's a 5.4% alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
We will move into the story on that. But
So, question
wait,
number.
you're starting. But your question was,
So-
Adam, how did you do in the?
Well, we're waiting on him to reply, and fuck, I got a question. So, what's your favorite type of beer, or your favorite beer?
Favorite beer.
2 questions. Those are 2 questions.
Yeah, it's 2 in 1.
Okay.
Both.
So let's say my favorite beer would be a desert island beer that I could bring and drink nonstop. I'd probably go Del IPA. That'd be my desert island.
Desert Island
Yes.
beer.
We did
That's
that.
a good
That was
way to
one of
look
our
at it.
We
first
all love
episodes,
that on
Love
the
it.
show, yeah.
And yeah, little small special place in my heart too, because I think it kind of opened my eyes to craft brewing. It was like Fat Tire and Odell IPA. It's like, whoa, awesome. Yeah, let's
Boom.
keep drinking more of these.
We did Fat Tire and talked about how good of a transition beer it is, or like an intro to the craft scene, kind of a medium.
Did any of us like the? I think we gave it medium ratings.
Which one?
Fat Tire.
No,
We have a pretty high scores. I mean, because it's a good solid beer.
We
Hey,
rated the Odell
speaking
IPA
of good
super high,
solid
though.
beers, let's talk about Ian's beers since he came
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Did I answer your question?
So you answered your desert island beer.
Right.
But your favorite type of beer?
Oh,
Ooh.
I don't know if I have a favorite type. I don't think I'd go out and seek out, a certain type. I like
Do you like
drinking.
a bunch of fruit in your beer? Like
Not
every beer
really.
you could possibly have fruit
No.
in it?
If there's fruit in it, then I go out and buy more fruit and I put more fruit in it.
Okay.
You know,
See?
There it is.
no, I don't think I have a favorite style or anything
That's
like that.
him hating on him with
Only
that
that-
question too.
Which, if you notice, ever since he did that, every week that he's chosen a beer, it's had fruit in it.
No, that's a lie.
It's
I
absolutely
feel like
true.
it's pretty true.
It's absolutely true. But wanna
I,
throw that out there.
I'm really happy to hear your desert beer though. That's
IPA guy.
Ooh.
Tate and I are very much IPA guys.
well, I just like hops and I like every ingredient that goes in beer.
Since you are a brewer, are you noticing
Okay.
any sort of trends towards sours? We've had that discussion on the show a couple times.
Yes,
Yeah?
and I'm a big
Talk
sour
about
fan
Yeah.
myself. That's actually, I guess I'll bring it up now. We're going to be working on our summer seasonal will be a raspberry goza.
Oh,
So
yeah. Inside scoop, heard it here first.
right,
Boom!
it'll be on draft only. We're
We
doing
will
some.
make the trip.
I know we're doing some techniques that we haven't quite tried out before, so I'd rather mess up just one batch instead of 3 or 4 of them. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be brewing that in the next couple weeks and
Hell yeah.
be ready sometime in June. So
Raspberry or like a blue raspberry artificial?
it's a raspberry puree.
Oh, nice.
So
Awesome. That sounds awesome.
Raspberry Gosa
So be looking
sour.
out for that.
yeah, the Goza's styles, kind of
That sea salt, sour.
sea salt.
Okay.
So because all right, so you brought the beer tonight that's only normally on tap, and you were able to can for that. Is this something that you guys plan on canning, or is it going to be only?
The Goza.
Yeah.
Hopefully it probably won't be this year, since we'll make it a seasonal.
Right.
We'll bring it back next year, and we'll have that time to make a label and do all that
Perfect.
stuff
Yeah. Awesome.
to kind of go with that. So.
So you guys will have to get to McPherson. We have a lot of viewers from here, right here in Salina, obviously. It's not a far drive. Chris and I have been. We went about a month ago.
Yeah.
Made the drive down and went and picked up a couple growlers and stuff. I got some Dark Illusion. And I think Taylor got. I don't remember which one she got. I think she got the. I want to say it was like a pug one, like a porter. That you could only
stout?
get. Yeah.
The bulldog.
Yeah, the bulldog. That's what it was. Yeah.
Pug porter.
Yeah.
Right? That being
That's
bulldog.
I don't know why I thought.
Just
Yeah, because we wanted to get
Good
some
to see
stuff.
you here.
I mean, I know you can get Grand Illusion cans too, but like I was just such a fan on the tasting of it on tap. I was like, man, this is so much better on tap. I want more. But yeah, we got some growlers and came back home with some goodies. But
yes.
What?
David. Oh,
so
you're so lucky
I
Chad's not
don't know
working
how
with
many
us.
episodes you've watched, but we have a long time thing going with Tate hate. And it's just people being mean to Tate. And we feel bad for him, but also, like I said, he's like the main slogan of the show. People gotta kind of get used to it. Hey, what's up?
So Adam
Daniel,
Boyer
Josh,
said that
everybody.
he essentially got 4th in all the events.
Yes, because the
It
top
came
three
down to
people
the
tied.
stone.
So he's a strong
Strong
man.
Yeah.
He scares me.
He's
But
lifting
so
up
nice.
these like 400-pound stones, just sitting on.
Josh, Julie, thank you guys for the shares, by the way. But yeah, so you said a special place in your heart, the IPA. It kind of got you
How's puberty
into.
treating you?
It's I'm still going through it, which really sucks because I'm already this hairy. I can't imagine what's gonna happen once I'm like actually full blown man. No, so that kind of started you off. Like, how did you get your start into like the craft beer
It just seems a little daunting.
life?
So
Yeah, so I guess let's see the story going. In high school, you have all these college days. I know I wanted to get into food science. Dad is a bakery science major from K-State, so I kind of grew up with that kind of food background and understanding.
Yeah.
So, wanted to go to K-State, but since I had these college days, went out to Colorado State just to go. And again, before I got into craft beer, we took a tour of the Anheuser-Busch Brewery out there in Fort Collins, and basically just, I guess, fell in love, maybe, to an extent. But yeah, just standing there going, this is awesome, this is incredible, I like every part of this, looking at the creativity, the science, everything that kind of, is involved with brewing, I enjoyed, and came back and said, hey Dad, guess what I want to do? I want to make beer when I grow up. And he's like, oh,
You're my hero.
okay,
That's awesome.
right.
Tate,
You know?
Tate actually does some brewing.
That's the first day your dad told you he was proud of you.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Noble art.
right.
I've raised a man.
So, and it was, yeah, I mean, Dad, he grew up, he wasn't, you know, super into beer either. I mean, I remember just
Right there.
maybe
Yeah.
Bud Light cases maybe once every 2 or 3 months. I mean, hardly
Right.
anything. And then we started home brewing and getting more into it and, you know, just going through school and kind of
Put the light
doing all that stuff. I got an internship at Boulevard for
Oh,
half a summer.
Damn.
Yeah. And
I was just there.
Tate's
2
gonna
weeks
live
ago.
vicariously
Yeah.
through your stories now.
yeah, they would. It was really nice of them. I applied. It was a quality position. They said no. I called them back and said what I have to do to kind of, you know, make myself available to breweries and kind of have them look at me. Told me, and the next day they called me and said, okay, you can have half the internship. I was like,
There you
sweet,
go. Always
awesome.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Desperation works. That's the takeaway.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get out there and do all that, and then Tallgrass in Manhattan opened in 2007, I think, and that was the 2008-2009 year, so they were just opening up. Got in on there, working part-time while I finished up school, and then ended up working there for about 4.5 years, doing quality control, brewing, canning, yeast management, anything and everything. And
Learning anything and everything you can.
yes, in
Yeah,
a small
awesome.
brewery. So, and then moved down here and opened my own place.
Oh yeah.
So you need help.
Yeah, I get that a lot. There's a list about this.
Yeah.
It's
like you need an
already.
intern.
If I make myself available. Do you have an intern?
Tate's
position?
always talking to us about how he wants to at least just like view like the big brewery.
I want to see a big
process.
production batch. I think that I
Mhm.
mean the
How big are your batches?
We have a 7-barrel system.
Okay.
So, yeah,
How
it's interesting to go to like the really big brewers like Anheuser-Busch. You know, everything's the same except 1,000 times bigger.
Right.
You know, all the tanks are just enormous. And, you know, one
so how many
tank
gallons
holds.
is each barrel?
What is that? 217. There's 31 gallons a barrel. So
So
31
that's
times
seven.
7.
Yeah.
So that's what
Carry the
talking
two.
about. Walnut River, they got like a 7-1 for testing. Was it 7? It was like 5 or 7 for testing, and then 30 for their normal production thing.
Right, I think they have a,
217.
Yeah. I think they have a 2. I think that's what they started on, was their little 2 or 3 barrel
Yeah.
thing. I think that's what they do, testings and one-off kind of stuff with.
So they've mentioned other brewers, not just one, has mentioned we've had to dump tons of beer. Have you had to do this?
I wouldn't say tons. I don't know. I'm not bragging, but I think my quality experience is
You were in quality.
right, is kind of been fortunate enough to not
To keep
have
not to
anything
do too much
just
of that.
terrible. The only ones I can think of, one was thermometer went bad, so I thought I was mashing in what I was supposed to, like 152, 53 degrees. It was like 120. So
Okay.
nothing converted, so we had to dump that one down
Yeah,
the
you
drain.
didn't have anything. You didn't
Right.
have any fermentable sugars.
Right. So, yeah. But I think that was pretty much it. We might have had to dump one more. I don't know why.
How big of a crew do you run?
I'm the only full-time employee.
Wow.
Yes. So.
So all of
You're
this is
hustling.
All of this
touched
to you,
this
man.
beer. You might have touched this beer.
I did in some way. Yes.
That's bad.
You're welcome.
That's why I handed you that can. He told me when you were looking, he said anything marked with an X, that's for Tate. And so I handed you that one. He got in on the Tate. Hey, he's already seen the show. He did. No.
So, yeah, I have part-time help. I mean, my mom, my dad, my wife, my 2 boys who are 5 and a year and a half.
And you're teaching them beer.
Yes.
They're going to take
Yes.
over one day.
They are. Yeah. I mean,
Oh my
we've already
God.
had great. I mean, my 5-year-old's going to
This is an
kindergarten
empire.
next year, and we've already kind of talked to the teachers like, no, if he talks about beer,
Right.
it's normal because this is what we do. You know,
Right.
it's okay.
You talking about passing it down generation-wise. Like I said,
Cool.
Chris and I went down to you guys' brewery, got some growlers and stuff, and we noticed, I think it was like on one of the walls, it was talking about
I
like
remember
generations of
seeing
brewers.
the-
Is this like a family thing that's gone on in generations of you, or is it like...
It stopped after, a while.
Oh, notification for beer review time.
Oh, okay.
Whoa,
So now, yeah, that's new.
Crazy
Hey.
new computer doing crazy shit, dude. What is this?
Yeah, Chris got a new computer. So hopefully everything's running smoother, faster. We haven't.
Let us know how the audio is and shit. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
But yeah, apparently this blew up. But we're gonna keep going. We'll ignore it like we normally do and go back.
Yeah, so while we were starting all this up, my mom's into ancestry stuff. She likes looking back, and she's like, "Hey, guess what I found? That's our my dad's grandmother, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I don't know, but her last name was Brauer. She came over from Germany, and Brauer is brewer in German. So she traced it all the way back to the 1500s, and
So it's in
was
the blood.
6, 7 generations, and then it
Nature
kind of
over
stopped.
nurture.
Right, and then,
Right there.
right. So and it kind of stopped there for a few generations, and then we picked it back up. So.
And one of your relatives, ancestors brewed a beer, or
Martin Luther?
Martin
it
Luther
was.
drank his
I guess I
beer?
don't have any proof that he actually did, but it's the same time period where it's Martin Luther's favorite beer was from Einbeck, and our ancestor brewed beer in Einbeck. So
We're counting it.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Count it.
Counts to
Okay, so
it.
this is not.
You know what the proof is? Because us four guys said it.
That's right.
Which
That's
Martin
good
Luther
shit.
are we talking about here?
Not Martin Luther King.
All right. What is the other Martin Luther?
The what was he?
Ireland?
Father of the Reformation.
Where's this at?
I am
In-
shit at history.
In Germany, he's like.
The history lesson. Now we're
Right.
like
The
calling out.
Catholic Church was
Yeah.
super great back then. They took money and built churches and things like that. And Martin Luther comes up and goes, "No, you shouldn't be doing that." And then
So he was a
reformed
cool dude.
Yes, the Reformation, 95 Thesis and everything like that.
He was a cool dude, and he loved Ian's great grandpa's beer.
Right.
So
It's all fucking
Yeah.
Mertz about it.
That's
Mertz knows the full history.
I'm gonna go
He's
talk to
watched
Mert.
plays. He's read books. He's read
It's our
memoirs.
programming professor.
He
yeah, see, hey David,
This
we're not
is so
always
great.
we're not always just drunken fools blabbering about nothing and everything.
God, I hate that guy. Can we get him off of here? Hey, David, I don't know if you've gotten any weird calls lately, but if you did, I had nothing to do with
That's
it, bro.
it. That was real.
I
that
had
was real
nothing
lame.
to do.
That's 'cause he jacked David's
if you
phone
saw
on
any
Friday.
weird transactions, nothing to do with it, bro. Nothing to do with
He's
it.
gonna go back and check now. I hope you know that.
I'm totally innocent. Totally
He's one of our frequents, and he constantly
He heckles me.
Tate shit. He's part of the Tate. He understands what it's all
Heckles
about.
me.
Who
So,
wants to go first?
what's the story? Actually,
Yeah.
I just want to know before we
Oh,
review
yeah.
it. What's
A
the
little-
story behind this?
Yeah,
The story behind.
the Yankee Rose.
Oh, the Yankee Rose. So let's see. It's a blonde ale. We kind of wanted to put something out there in the area. We didn't know what the craft beer scene was. We didn't think it was super heavy like Denver or anywhere or the coast or anything like that. So we wanted to have something that was pretty approachable, something that people were familiar with. So it's really light. I think it's pretty easy to drink. Yankee Rose. All of our names come from songs that we sit in the basement and turn on Pandora and go, "Oh, that'd be a great name for a song
Hell yeah.
or for a beer." So,
Nice.
that's one of the first homebrew batches we made, and then just
And the
went
label?
from there. The label we kind of had an idea for. We kind of wanted that kind of old World War II propaganda kind of feel.
Already talking about it. Just keep going. But I'm gonna-
Right, and so we got with some guy. I'll do a shout out to
Clarity
I think
too,
it's
bro.
Atelier or Atelier. I'm not sure how you say it, but they're in McPherson. They do a great job. They've designed all of our labels. Some of them we have ideas for. Others we just come in and go, like the Foggy Dew. They go, I have no idea what we want. Just come up with something awesome, and they're like, "Hey, how about a German Shepherd drinking beer and smoking?" We're like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it."
The clarity is
So-
blurring it out to where you can't. I was like, you can see through it, but it's because.
And if she weren't a cartoon, she'd be pretty hot.
No, I mean, BJ, another brewer that was on the show, he had some cans, or they have some production beers. He was Walnut River,
Mhm.
that had the same exact white can with a sticker label.
Mhm.
And I like these. I think these, they give you a little bit more, I don't know, flexibility or
They do.
quality?
They do. Also, buying printed cans, you have to buy a lot of them
Right,
that we don't
right.
have the space for.
Right.
So,
Well, these look dynamite. I mean, the
I
fact
love
that-
your guys' labels.
Well,
I
and the
love
fact
it.
that
Like,
you're the only full-time employee and you have how many beers in the liquor store right now? 4 or 5?
Five,
4 at least, yeah.
In the liquor store
Not
that we
including
go to.
seasonal, yeah.
I think I bought all of them.
Yeah.
People are hating on me. What are they doing?
David's on it. So it's a Blondell bro. Does the tab match the drapes? You know what I mean?
I feel bad
grade
because
humor's
Brad's
kind of
not watching,
Right.
or Brad would
So
pitch in too,
David
so-
is apparently
so, yeah.
wielding the equivalent of the Force, which he's wielding the Tate hate.
Yeah.
Adam said
According
no one's taking
to
you
Adam.
strong. And Brad just logged on.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you want to
Brad
start
just
off?
moved.
Yeah, let's do reviews.
Congratulations, Brad. He moved in with his long-term boyfriend. That happened this weekend.
That's cute.
Tell Charlie I said hi.
Congratulations. Now, I've had all your beers. Like I said, Chris and I went down to the brewery. I love you guys' stuff. Like I said, I love you guys' artwork. The artwork on the can was something I was gonna bring up. I don't know, it's got like that old school vibe on all of them, not just the Yankee Rose. We'll get to some of the other ones when we get to drink them. We've actually had the Wanderlust, and did we do the illusion on Cast or not? Or
Grand
did
Illusion.
we do the Grand Illusion on Cast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like 2
Grand
weeks ago.
Illusion and Wanderlust we've done.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I've had all your beers. I love them all. They're all good.
Thank
you. But yeah, I totally see where you're coming from as far as you guys wanting to create a beer that's very approachable. Especially a lot of people in this area, the Midwest in general, I think they're all about domestics. You know, any beer that has the word light on the end, which more beer that has the word light on the end.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is another great, like we were talking about earlier, Fat Tire, a very transformative beer as far as like, I want to get into craft beer, but I normally drink this. What can I do? I'm like, here's one, like, you'll love it. Like, try this, and then work your way up. No, this is perfect. It's a 5.2%, is that right? 5.4%, which is, I think, really high percentage for as drinkable as it is.
For the taste, yeah.
It's super smooth, super light. I'm gonna give it an 8. Especially with the summer going, I think this is something that you could easily just like a 6-pack, no problem finishing this on a summer day. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
So I was actually going to give it the exact same score, almost for the exact same reasons. This reminds me, a few weeks ago we did the life coach, and it's similar to that. I mean, if you drink a light beer at all, this will pop right in there and it will blow your mind. It's going to replace it, and it's going to add those flavors that it's missing, and it's going to replace a lot of that sugary flavor with, I guess, just good flavor. I mean,
The flavor of beer?
yeah,
Weird.
it's very easy to, I guess, make yourself acclimated to. You can adapt to this very easy, and it's available around here. So pretty much everybody who's watching, it is available around here. So it's.
I read it as you saw.
Oh, no. Yeah, like that.
I wasn't hip to it at all.
But it's very good. It's very good, and it has that light approachability.
So an 8 for you as well?
Yeah.
Cool. Chris, yeah.
I dig it. It's definitely a transitional beer or a lighter beer, like they said. I do think if you've went to Blue Sky here in town, I know they don't distribute or anything. They're only in-house, right?
Yeah.
If you've went there and had their blonde, it's very similar. I actually think I like this one more.
Yeah. I think this one's more full-bodied than the other.
Yeah, exactly.
This is way watered down.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have any complaints really. Their aroma's not like fantastic, but the taste is there. So I'm gonna go 7.5.
Nice.
Right on you guys.
What up, Trinity? Sorry.
No, give me a shout out, man.
And the fact that it's in cans,
I didn't see that.
that's great. Like you can take them to the lake, put them on your boat, shit like that. I wouldn't mind seeing a 12-pack in this.
Cans float, you can just be in the water, man.
Yeah.
Just floating with
Throw it
you.
in the pool. Oh.
I remember us doing that so much.
I can't wait until, like, I think BJ or somebody told us how you almost have to charge a little more for craft beer because of all the bullshit you have to deal with legally.
Oh, tax-wise and stuff.
So you can't really compete with Anheuser-Busch near as well. But I think if this was sitting on the shelf with a 12-pack or whatever next to a Bud Light 12-pack, I'd pick this every fucking time. it's a
Oh, yeah.
price where
Well,
even
you're
like
talking
$2 more.
You're talking about compete price wise though. Like they can lower their prices because
Well, they're
of their
huge,
major
of
manufacturing.
course,
Yeah. But as far as like competing flavor wise, like they can't even touch this.
no,
Yeah.
no,
That's what. Okay.
I agree.
I'll just help you flavor.
It is lacking a little crispiness. If I'm gonna give it a negative.
Josh, I put a little
but-
Febreze in there. Spice up that aroma.
Dipshit.
David says because it's liquid and not glass, I give it a 7.5. Fuck you, Dave.
Finished?
Yeah, I'm good.
God.
Was
Okay.
that enough details for you? You piece of
I have
shit.
been really just overwhelmed by you guys' amount of depth to your descriptions. It's been great.
You're the only one who's always like, love it, 3.2.
I mean, I had this thought while listening to you guys. When you think about like summer parties, you know, if you're going to host a party, you can't rely on everybody to bring beer, so you try and stock a beer that appeals to a wide audience. I feel like that's what the function that this beer serves. This is a beer you can. What does it run a 6-pack? Do you know? Do you know off the top of your head?
$8.99.
Yeah, it
99?
depends.
Same as yeah.
So it's an affordable, good beer that you can have at your party during the summer and be like, yo, here you go. Not to feel too bad about it. Giving away free beer to all these ungrateful
Bud Light drinkers.
We were inviting you guys last year.
But I drink this and I enjoy this more than any of what I would consider like a Pilsner. Is this similar to a Pilsner?
I mean, it's, I guess, but it's an ale.
It's an ale? It's
Yeah.
an ale yeast?
Blonde ale, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I like it way better. So I would definitely always take it
Right.
over the cheaper alternatives.
Right.
But
One last taste for the.
Ooh, the real question's coming out. Because
Which
it's
one?
not $10.99 a 6-pack, and we know that because
Or
we probably wouldn't
I
have
really
done
don't look at price
or-
tags ever. My wife yells at me for it all the time. But I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what we need. And I put it in the cart. Or that's what I want. And I put it in the cart. I don't even care.
It's pretty consistent with smaller Kansas breweries being $8.99 6-pack,
That's pretty standard, I think.
and which is very.
I mean,
Very good
not
price
only
to
just
me.
Kansas. I mean, like anybody around this area. I mean,
I know people that
I mean,
when
until
they
you
buy
start getting
beer.
East Coast, West Coast, that's when you get like $16 a 4-pack kind of shit. But
I give it a 7.5 as well.
Is he talking about Tate? Is that what's going on here?
Hey, what's up, man?
Demographics, culture. Oh God.
Shaved legs.
What is he?
I don't know. he just keeps going. But all right, what's your number? What's your number?
7.5.
Okay,
That's what I give it.
so 275s.
Average
pretty good.
of 7.75.
There we go.
I love the labels too on every beer. Like I
On
picked
that,
I-
how often do you have to calibrate your label?
Pretty rarely. And we've
Really?
got a pretty good
Because they seem all pretty
label
fucking
machine,
nice.
and once we get it set, I mean, it's the only time it really changes. Maybe when we change labels out, we have to adjust a little bit. But then once
I've
it's set,
docked a
it's
brewery before because their labels were so fucking crooked. It drove me nuts.
Who was that? When was
I
this?
don't remember.
No, I remember you doing
But
it.
I was wasting. I'm like, this
Oh
is so
God,
crooked.
Adam.
Hire
That's
me
super
for your
awesome.
QC department.
And that's-
It's not
kinda-
has nothing to do with that.
No, it does. Yep, I was
That's
gonna
kind of
say
the way
the
we
same
went. Our labels
No,
are kind of designed
I've
the way
never
it
looked
is.
at prices,
I
but
mean, you
that's
look
what I
at some
need.
labels, they kind of have a part where, like, if it's supposed to connect all the way around, if your label's a little off, it just doesn't look quite as well.
Mhm.
What we do with this kind of big part is, the label can be a little bit off, but it still doesn't look
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
So,
Not a bad idea.
Smart.
and also
What's
we're
up, Mark?
lightening them up. You can see that's a little not yellow. So
Oh, yeah.
they look even a little bit better now. So
Nice.
those will start coming out as we.
Wait,
Keep
this
going.
is the new one?
Yes.
Okay.
Same label design, just not quite
That's what
as.
you got. That has the X on the top. Look, I told you. I'm just kidding.
He fucking looked
I
to
picked
it.
it. So I mean, for the show, we already reviewed the Grand Illusionist, and that was my pick because I'd had it before and I liked it so much.
That's
And you had had it before, and you were excited that I picked it.
Yeah.
So we
We
Chris
had
and I-
it at the
yeah.
brewery,
Yeah.
right out of the tap.
Really were a fan.
And I think you would love their brewery because it's so in your face. Like you walk in and it's right there.
Yeah, you see the. I mean, like
Like
you're
it's
in
not
the brewery.
hidden
It's
by
awesome.
any means. So
Yeah.
I don't know
I
how
have a
willing
question.
you'd be
Actually,
to give
now that
you,
we're
like,
talking about being there,
us a rundown.
we'll
and-
start going to the next
or
beer.
let
Do you
us
want to
watch you work.
Oh,
Some-
yeah,
someday.
sometime, yeah.
You said you're the only like 40-hour employee, so maybe
60
He goes
hours.
40 my ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
full-time
Right.
employee. My bad.
40 a day.
I don't know how you would like for idiots come and watch and learn the process, but it's almost simpler to learn when it's something of that scale rather than going to a boulevard tour and trying to understand what the fuck's
Right.
going on.
Right.
Because I went to that and I was like, yeah, I still don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
No, I mean, I'll get anybody to
I mean, maybe
scoop
someday.
grain out.
If you put me to work, that'll only make me happy.
Yeah.
I love to. Oh my god, it's like it's a dream come true. I'm doing fucking
All right, so
manual labor at a
we told
brewery.
all the other brewers that come on, and Chris brought it up to you. When we have brewers on here, we're very honest with our ratings on beers. The first one, this is a very approachable, easy beer, easy to drink, easy to rate. This next one's an IPA. Tate and I are huge IPA guys. These guys not so much.
I
So
don't taste any citrus.
this
right
might
off the
get a little bit different rating going on, but
Particularly Jason, he is about the pickiest pain in the
Adam,
ass.
guess we're
you
having a
can
show next
imagine.
week. Tate won't be here next week though, Adam. If you missed out, yeah, he's gonna be
Perfect. I'd love to sub Adam in for Tate.
Yeah, if you
be
want.
on. No, we got AJ.
Oh,
Hey,
wait,
hey,
which one?
Okay, but I had a question.
Oh.
Since, like I said, Chris and I have been there. He was talking about you were right in there. Right off to the side of when you walk in, there's that one canning machine. Is that you
Yes.
guys' only canning
Yes,
machine?
that's the canning machine.
How fast does that thing run, man?
It-
Because like, and I recently acquired a position at the Cave Diver South here in town, which is one of the ones here in Salina that distribute your guys' beers.
Okay.
And in my mind, for whatever reason, I knew that Crown Distribution had picked you guys up and were distributing you. But I thought it was if they picked, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was if you were distributing to them, like it was like everybody that they got your beers. But Ryan was telling me that it's like there's only like 2 stores in Salina. Or something.
So we're with the Kansas Craft Alliance.
Okay, that's
And,
what it is.
right, and yeah, it's we started off in the Salina area a little slow to see how it went. That's just kind of how we open
We're
up
your
to.
neighbors.
Huh?
We're right there.
No, I know, but it's and then it's things like Wichita. We just sent beer down to Wichita 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we wanted to make sure we could have everything ready to go and backfilled and
Right.
To be
just to kind of
fair,
see, right,
to be fair, Salina's not a big.
right. It's
No,
not
which
Wichita.
is not a big
per se.
craft
Yeah.
scene at all.
Right.
No.
But still, I mean, it was one of those where we kind of agreed with our distributor that let's start out slow, kind of build up inventory a
A
little bit,
backlog
so when they
kind of
come
thing,
back, like, yep, here it is, and so
Don't
That's
read
You
Yeah,
don't
it.
how
have
we've
people
been going.
waiting to restock, basically. Like,
Correct.
you can always keep your.
yes, I mean, we still kind of run into that every
Read
so
it.
often where we just
Don't read it.
can't keep up
It's
quite
just like
well,
fucking
but
case,
I mean,
So how many cities are you guys in currently?
oh goodness,
A lot.
You
Okay.
like
No, that's
some-
awesome.
yeah, a good amount, I
already did
guess.
it.
Hey Tay.
Jesus.
We can distribute all the way out to the Colorado border, all the way to Emporia. But I mean, it's just kind of the way it goes, and if you can get us out there or not. So
So you guys are strictly in Kansas right now, though.
yes,
So
and that we'll
because we have some
probably-
viewers that are a little bit out of the state, but
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably stick around in Kansas for a good time.
no, that's awesome.
I've already
So,
read it all, and I'm well aware.
He didn't.
By the time you start reading this,
I'm not gonna read the whole thing because I'm
No,
trying
no,
to.
it's
Just
Yeah.
get his wallet text again.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
Uh,
Also, real quick, just because I haven't asked this yet, and I always ask this, if anybody's drinking tonight, what are you guys drinking? We're drinking some
I hope
delicious
it's
3
Three
Rings.
Rings.
Oh yeah, if somebody is actually drinking it, that'd be fucking crazy and
hopefully
awesome.
your friend Pack is.
But no, here's the thing: they don't have it in Abilene.
Ah.
So my buddy Eric works I would say probably easily the best liquor store there in town, and he
Is it
always
the
hits.
only one?
No, there's like 5 for how small of a town that is.
Jesus
Yeah,
What is it?
It's
Churches?
grown.
Kansas.
Churches
grown.
and liquor stores. That's what we have, dude.
Abilene's way bigger than it used to be.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
They're about to have a Carlos Jr.
That was my
by the way.
question.
But anyways, he always hits us up before the cast, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys drinking tonight?" Because he wants to try to get the beers and drink them with us. But I was like, "Hey, we got Three Rings tonight, man. Definitely pick up something like Wonderlust or something like that." And he was like, "I don't know what that is." I'm like, "Yo, I feel so bad for you right now." Like,
Yeah.
that's how huge your fans we are. We're like, if you guys can't get this in your town, like, figure out what closest town has it.
Shut up, Neff.
Wait. Is this going to be Mr. Glory Hole tour? Is that what this is? Your appearances next week.
Him and his notes. Just like, freaking out.
Whoa, what's going on?
Do you ever get tired of your own beer? I mean, you own your own
Oh,
brewery.
that's a great question.
That's a good question.
I had that. The reason why I thought about it is I offered you
Oh,
that
Jeff said
first
that one
beer
does have
when
it.
we were
Where
here.
at?
I was like, "Yo, can we get you a drink?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, do I offer him his own beer, or do I offer him some of the myriad other shit that we have in here?"
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have something different. You know, I'll still go out and buy beer every so often, so it's good. I don't know. I like having other stuff.
So like, if you go out, like, and you go buy, you know, a six-pack of the house or something for the week or whatever, like, do you generally probably don't buy your own? You go and...
Why would I buy
I
my
think
own
he has to
beer?
buy his own, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. Like,
No,
you're not
I mean,
constantly just filling your fridge with, you know, Vertigo.
What?
You're going
No.
out and getting your, you know...
just, yeah, whatever. I kind of feel like look around and go, oh, yeah. Dale's Pale
So-
Ale sounds good.
And do you also try new beers?
Dale's Pale Ale, that's a good beer.
Do you also
Oscar
go out and
Blues.
try new beers as maybe like for inspiration kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah, I like to look around and see what other people have. I mean, going to beer festivals, things like that is another good way to try everybody else's and see what people are doing.
So now that we're best friends,
Hey, what's up, Casey?
you're gonna start coming out with us to. We're gonna have a night, and it'll be a similar night to the everybody on the couch's first night, or at least my inauguration to
no,
them.
I can't do
Where
that.
we'll start at Speakeasy, and we'll go to Big Nose,
Okay.
and by 2 a.m. we're gonna be doing putting our fists in a big circle and doing something about Captain Planet.
Did we just
But-
find our heart?
We might have. But if we were to go to Speakeasy
What's up,
or Big Nose Kate's, and you were to go to the bar, what is the beer you order at both places? Do you know?
He doesn't know that.
He doesn't know what they have on tap.
Or I mean, okay. Well,
That sucks.
if you were to walk into both those places and you're like, oh, I bet you they have this. That's what I want.
He said he likes sours. He'd
No.
like the sequinch. Have you had Doctor
Uh,
said sequinch
I was
ale?
gonna say Big Nose doesn't have
I don't know if I've had it or not.
sequence.
Okay.
But I don't know if
Yeah,
I
what's
can
up,
really
Jack?
answer your question. I'd have to look and see what they
It was a
have.
12-part question,
I just-
so I want an
And,
email.
and none of it fucking mattered because he doesn't know what they have on tap. He's not from here.
I'm one of those guys that going to a big liquor store is like I'm like a kid in a candy store, and I'm there for like half an hour. Like, oh my gosh.
Do you- okay, do you-
That's like the
And
mustard.
then $100 later, you know.
Right. Do you-
Really? That's what happens? You
Well,
buy like
usually
12,
my wife-
12 different six-packs?
And my wife's sitting out there like, will you hurry up?
Right.
Calm down. You know,
What's that liquor store in Kansas City?
Oh, Lucas Liquor?
Lucas Liquor in KC. Have you
Yeah,
ever been there?
I haven't, but like walking into like Jacob Liquor Exchange down in
Right.
Wichita, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess I
crazy
will
in there.
buy some
We
whiskey
must have
too.
spent
Yeah.
2 hours in there, man. It was-
Yeah, it's
nuts.
impressive. So,
Now, do you generally kind of stick to, okay, these are what I like, this is what I go, or do you go out of your way to find new stuff? Something you haven't tried before?
yeah, I know I'm not answering your questions very well, but it really does vary. Like I guess the last beers I bought were Boulevard Wheat and Coors Original in the stubby
The
bottles.
banquet beers.
Banquet beers.
That's what you
Right.
drink.
But
used
then,
to,
but then
yeah.
I'll go out and
I still do.
do whatever I feel like. I guess just yeah. If it's super hot out that week, I'm like, oh, let's get something light or
Right.
whatever. So I don't know. Not a
Arm
very
and
good-
Hammer?
Not a very good answer, but
What?
It's your answer though. That's the best part of it.
David Gavin has lost
Dude.
all
I don't know what that one means.
I want to know if any of the viewers or people commenting have any questions for.
Yeah, if you
that's
guys,
cool.
yeah.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, we got a master
Instead
brewer
of
here.
only
in our-
to hate.
And you wait, you said you were a food science major?
yes.
What year did you graduate?
09.
Okay. I said.
It's the Tate hate,
Oh, yeah,
baby.
yeah.
He works at Canyon Bakehouse in in Loveland,
No.
just south of Fort Collins.
Mhm.
I had to move her to Fort Collins like 4 years ago. But gluten-free bakery, food science, K-State major.
Oh, right. Perfect. Yeah.
We'll
That's right.
Review this one in 5.
Yeah, that sounds good.
7:45.
Yeah.
I can't get the fucking timer to work. It's waking up for some reason.
Wow, this new computer is total shit.
Yeah, send it back. We can't get our
I'm about
timer.
to
Guy in the
give me
middle.
the fucking. Okay, Brad has a question.
Who are the cast do you hate
For
the
the
most?
guy in the middle.
And why is it
Oh, man.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
Sorry, like I said, this is a constant thing.
Brad, don't waste our time.
It's that tape.
We're gonna ban you.
Hey.
It's coming. So
I'll
don't
never
knock it
ban you,
off.
Brad.
Oh, man.
I'll give you my Facebook information since I don't use it. You can take over once he bans you.
So you said you guys are getting ready to do a seasonal Gosa.
Mhm.
Are there any
There you go.
like big staple beers that you guys have coming in the future that you can talk about or want to talk about that like you guys are like, man, I really want to make?
Yeah. Let's
A
see.
pumpkin
We've
beer.
got no pumpkin beers in the near future. Sorry.
That's my
Let's see. The Goza, I think, towards the end of the month, beginning of next month. We're gonna, if you guys have had our Earthshine wheat, we had it last year over the summer. Again, it was draft only. It's gonna be the same this year. We're gonna come out with that. And then we're just gonna do some experimental stuff. I think we'll have the Goza throughout summer, and then at the end of summer is when Oktoberfest come out, and so we have our Witch Hunt Oktoberfest that seems to be pretty popular, and we are going to can that. So we're going to have that out
yeah.
in cans. Huh?
What type of beer is it?
It's an Oktoberfest.
Oh, I didn't know if it had.
It's like a Mars and
It's, I don't know, I categorize it more like in an American Oktoberfest, I guess. I don't know. Sam Adams Oktoberfest, I think, is pretty solid. You know, it's kind of like that kind of style, whatever that is. So,
What did Blair ask?
He said,
How do you
brainstorm
brews?
brews?
Brainstorm brews. I don't know. I think it goes back to trying to, or finding beers that we haven't heard of, or things that we want to try. I mean, we have a bunch of home brews recipes that we'd like to bring out eventually when we have time. I mean, we have, you know, Belgian Strong, we have a Saison, we've got a bunch of others kind of out there. Right. Maybe. So, but then things like a blonde stout, I want to keep going. You know, that's kind of an
That sounds
obscure
good.
thing that I heard of, and I'm like, whoa, that'd be pretty interesting and cool to kind of figure out. Had
What's
a couple,
up, AJ?
and
How about this? You come out with the blonde stout, first pours, you have it with the Brew Bros.
sure, if it
Think
ever
about it,
comes to
man.
fruition, yeah.
You guys heard
We
it.
can
He
do that.
said
That's right.
yeah.
Hold me to it.
So,
So,
yeah.
That's awesome.
but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of beers that, I mean, I think there's, I can't remember the names, but Dad, he is
Salud,
really
AJ.
big on
What's up, Jeremy?
coming up with the recipes, so he, you know, reads up on beers that he wants to try, reads
Because
up
he
on
was a
them,
baker. Okay, yeah.
and he's really good at it, and he knows what he's doing, and so kind of let him run with it. And
So with that in mind, with him being a baker, does that make the sours more of a possibility? Since you'll have mother yeast?
I don't know. I never thought about it.
You're like just begging for him. Give me the sour.
Just
So-
full line. Come on. That's all I
What's
ask.
up, Fredo?
So
Hey, yeah,
And then-
Jeremy, we did meet Cape Towers. What's up?
I think Brad might have asked something too.
He did. He
No,
said.
just ignore it. It's not
No,
important.
it,
It's
he,
not
had, he had a
important.
good
I
one.
think it was legit.
Brad's question. It's not important.
What made you decide on
Just leave it alone.
McPherson? You're Mount
Um,
Red, yes?
I live in Mountain Ridge, but before I answer that, I'll go back and I'll just put out real quick our Bulldog Stout. We're planning on putting in cans in the fall.
Okay, great.
All right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of, I think we're looking at it to be a long seasonal in cans, but then continue it throughout the year in draft. So,
It is not a sweet stout, is it?
no, it doesn't
Okay.
have lactose or anything like that in it.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't like. Yeah. It's probably not
That's a good
brewing
idea.
wise. Consider it, but I mean, it's not. It's got a bit of a tiny bit of a sweet kick. That's one. So I got because I got the Grand Illusion, even though I already had it. It's so much better on tap. And Taylor brought up the stout, the Bulldog. It's good. You'll love it.
So, Going back to Mound Ridge, yes, Mound Ridge. We live in Mound Ridge. We picked
You want to tell this crowd that? Is that?
Don't give me your address.
And my address is.
Yeah, right, yeah. But Mound Ridge, picked McPherson. A building came up that was what we were looking for,
Cool.
and let's see. A good thing that kind of came out of that we didn't really think about was utilities are rather quite inexpensive in McPherson, which is why they have a bunch of industry, you know, Pfizer and
They
CHS
blowing up
and
there. That's why I was asking.
Jones Manville and everything like that.
They
So
pay better than Salina.
right, and so we like hardly pay anything for water, and we're a brewery, so that was a nice thing that surprised
awesome.
us.
Right.
Yes. So
Do you plan on outputting a tall boy sour?
tall
Hey,
boys,
there we go.
Do
probably
you plan on
not,
doing any
but
tall boys?
not in the near future. No,
Does that require a whole different canning machine?
it does not. We can adjust it so we can put it in
Nice.
16s. I think it goes as high as 19.2.
Damn.
Are those 500 mils? I don't know what they are, but and then go as small as I think 12 ounces is as small as it goes. So.
Do you plan on doing a tap house or brewery with a bar and shit anytime soon, or is that like a 5-year plan?
I think it's more in our 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ignoring it.
Because we would have loved to sit down with like, the game on.
Yeah, you're right, and
try
we would
your
like that
beers.
too. County laws require us to sell an X amount of food with if we sell beer by the drink.
Okay.
So that's kind of getting into food is a entirely different beast.
Different, yeah.
And so we're really brainstorming on how we can kind of do something
That
like
makes
that.
sense.
And
Just wondering.
yeah, hopefully in the future, but
And it sucks that that's required. Like, let them be their own thing. If you want to just do beer and not dabble in food too, even though you may be in the
right,
food major,
right.
but one step at a time.
Right.
So I got you.
Yep. I mean, I can make Hot Pockets and Pop Tarts.
That'd actually be like pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh yeah, we got 13 flavors of Hot Pockets.
And Pop Tarts. That is
all
a
the
good
Pop
idea.
Tarts, yeah.
All Pop Tarts.
That'd be hilarious.
Fuck up, microwave yourself.
Yeah, you just give it to that and there's like 6 microwaves on that wall.
Hey, question. So, I'm reading your can here.
Yes.
I'm looking at your artwork with this, whatever the hell this thing is. This is like a human stag
Hey,
god.
while you're talking about it, I'm gonna show it off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep
Ooh,
going.
yeah. So what's the inspiration behind the photo?
Oh, it's green. This isn't gonna work.
This was one of those. Oh yeah, it's green. Yeah. This was one of those where we kind of went up to our designers and went, we don't really have a good idea. But IPAs, there's always like an elephant, for
Right.
it's like I don't really want to do an elephant because everybody does it. So come up with something cool that is kind of Kansas related, and so they came up with this, and we're like, yeah, that's
badass.
awesome.
Well,
The
and
horn's
it's
crossed.
Vertigo name.
Yes.
It means really well too. Like he's in Vertigo, kind of like
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fucking badass.
Well,
You guys could see, like I said, with the green screen, you can't see the whole can. That kind of sucks for you. But like you could see the main, feature with the deer, in the meditating position. The background is like this really cool like green landscape, clouds and stuff like that. So that's the part that you're missing out on. You can see the main portion that we're talking about though.
So, Three Rings Brewery presents Vertigo. It's 68 IBUs, and you say orange, grapefruit, and citrus aromas showcase this well-balanced Midwest IPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Midwest IPA. That's what this tastes like.
Represent.
All right, I'm going to ask this question because I've been slowly backburning it because everybody kept
Is
asking.
it how big?
This is
Tate's
Mr. X.
biceps?
I'm gonna say Mr. X's question so that Tate doesn't shut it down.
Tape or
We already
mouth?
answered on how you got your start on brewing. This guy's question was, what are some of like the biggest, I guess, backfalls, burdens, downtrends that you've gotten since you started? Like, what are some of the things that like maybe like really put a hurdle in your way, kind of thing? Like,
Or has this always been like
Tripped
there
up
was
your
no
step.
day job? It was
The roadblocks
wasn't,
that you
fuck
overcame.
this. I'm back to accounting. It was nope this.
So like during the whole process, I guess, is that what the question is? Like what
Yeah.
kind of?
As far as
what we
not only
didn't
master
expect
brewer, but
almost.
also like brewery owner, like some things that like maybe you didn't expect, or some things that like
Does
Young
the legal shit
entrepreneur.
suck?
you know, especially
Right.
being a brewery in Kansas. I know
Hiring
Kansas
people.
can be a difficult
Right.
bitch to deal with
People
all the time and any
That's a
time.
good question.
He's like, I don't want to go to
didn't.
jail. How
No,
do I answer this? No, I'm just kidding.
no, I didn't expect as much. Maybe regulations in the opening part, but I guess I didn't know what to expect. But
Okay.
it ended up being a lot more than what I thought. You know, like drawings, you know, had to be done by an engineer. You know, not my napkin. It doesn't pass.
No
right?
shit.
Right, I know, weird, right? But then it's like we ran into an issue with since we're considered to be kind of like a food processing facility. You know, we kind of had to have cleanable surfaces and everything like that. And one of the things I struggled with was they wanted me to have a mop sink, like a sink specifically
For your mop to get
like right, yeah, putting your mop there and put your mop water in it. And I'm like, well, I've got a 4x4 foot drain right in the middle of the floor. What I need a mop sink for?
right.
Like, so and it just went
But
back
by
and forth. And like, well,
standards,
what are you
you have to
gonna
have
do
that
with
separate.
your mop water? I'm gonna pour down the drain. What
A
do you?
giant drain in the middle of
There's
my
a huge
floor.
drain in the middle
Yeah,
of the floor.
I remember
Why do I
seeing the
need
drain too.
why do I need a separate drain and a separate sink to fill up my mops with?
Yeah.
So, but,
Is that, yeah, it was probably more, that way, like, if you're supposed to be like,
Dumb
shit,
shit.
man, we're all out of beer, how do we, we got all that beer down in that drain,
Wait,
and then they don't want you to
I
make,
got
get
a
it.
hose.
Thanks for
over
looking out
there.
for this.
I got a
Yeah.
drain right there.
yeah, it's,
Mop sink.
right.
Right in
If
the
you
middle.
could brew any concoction, what would it be?
If I could brew any beer, or
Like, right
if you could brew any concoction, what would it be?
Like endless possibilities.
Endless
Like,
possibility.
it could do this. It could.
I'd really like to do a really good sour. I'm unfamiliar with brewing sours, which
I'm
is
so
why
happy
this
to hear that.
right, which is why this
Hey, sorry, hey, sorry.
this goes as kind of experimental for us, and why we're only kind of doing just one or two. But like, I'd really like to make it. Like I really think like La Folie from New Belgium is an awesome sour. I'd love to make a beer like that. If I can make a beer like
What's
that,
it
I'd
called? I
be
haven't had
doing
it.
all right. La Folie.
Lawfully.
Yeah, they come in they're bombers, and it's.
They named it after something French. Is that what this is?
I guess.
Or like a piano sonnet.
I don't know.
When is,
Lawfully.
if,
That's
do
French.
you have, I mean,
I
you're,
believe
you're,
it.
you're
I'm
planning
pretty
on trying to do this, do you know when about you're going to be releasing maybe this Gosa?
All I'm gonna tell you is probably sometime in June.
Okay.
It's on the schedule for a couple weeks.
So we're safe, like if we said, hey, in July,
What's up,
start in
Sarah?
July, go down, maybe you can get a ground on
I'd
it.
probably say mid-June,
Okay, mid-June.
late June.
All right.
Yeah.
So mid-June, late June, if you guys want a really good Gosa,
Let me know.
head
I
down to
can make the
McPherson.
trip.
It's not a far drive. Yeah.
We'll put it on our social
You
media.
can get a
and
growler,
everything.
man.
I'll
Oh,
tell you
I
one
don't
thing
social
that your
media.
beers are achieving. Getting me drunk.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
I don't like that you wink. You guys couldn't see his right eye. He winked at him after that.
Review
No,
time?
or an eyebrow raise.
Yeah, we can do a beer time. Yeah, because we still got a third beer to drink. So.
Did we not set a timer?
It started messing
You
up.
didn't get it to fucking work? What were you
said
doing? You were over
45.
here for 10 minutes. You were
I
doing.
quit.
That's what he did. He quit. The computer shuts down. We're done.
Alright.
Yeah. We went this way last time, right?
Well, you want to start with me?
Yeah. Sorry, you.
All right.
No, alright, if that's the case, now I'm gonna go take a leak.
Oh, Jesus. You're good, man. It just caught me.
Now
off
I'm
guard.
gonna have to be windy because I was gonna be brief.
You know they're really dumb.
Yeah, I'll get on. There's a lot of things I like about this, but I was looking at it the other day and I thought about buying it, but I knew you were coming on the show. And I'm like,
But you have no real money. It's all
he's
your
gonna
life.
bring that one.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring that one. I don't want to drink it. I want it to be a surprise. But I looked at it, I'm like, oh my god, it's such a badass label. I wanted to buy
Blair
it.
said, so tall boy sour it is. I said kiwi, avocado, lime.
Perfect. I love all those three things.
Avocado. That'd be interesting.
Is that our last one?
Kiwi.
Kiwi, not
That's my
bad.
favorite fruit.
We need to get more beer. We don't have any more of that, the Vertigo in there. So the label's badass, and like you said, it was kind of like Kansas inspired. This was like the Kansas version of the Odell IPA with the frolicking
I guess with the frolicking elephant. with
frolicking
the guy riding
elephant.
it, yeah.
We got a shaman
But here's the thing, everybody, like he said, everybody is like, because
Kansas's
Indian
deer
Pale Ale,
are
like
badass.
India
Oh,
elephants,
dude.
like
Some
you
of
just
the
picture
biggest
that. So
Oh,
on the
yeah.
fucking planet.
They're
I'm glad you guys
corn-fed.
didn't go with it.
They're
Man.
corn-fed deer. They got asses the size of steers, like this.
Apparently they meditate like motherfuckers.
Oh,
too.
dude. Well, and they have like 10 fingers and 10 toes. So this is like a deer god.
This is the god. of
With and it's the god of hops because the hops are floating around it. So I
The
dig the label.
explanation
The
is
labels, it stands out to me anyway. I like the name too, but the Vertigo. Let's see.
6.2% for those, if we haven't said that.
No, we didn't yet.
And it's a very crisp. It doesn't have a ton of hop aroma, but it definitely has a good hop flavor.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he got windy.
Hey, you said wait for me, so you were like Rose and the Titanic. Jack. That's totally different, but I will give this one an 8. I like hops. I like IPAs. I like the crispness. I like the label. That earns an 8 for me. And the fact that it's brewed 30 minutes down the street, that way. Is it that way?
I don't know. I don't know what direction.
I think it's this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way. 30 minutes down there by this guy. He touched this can, and
I will answer that question about that lampshade hat. I think he needs a bigger one, to be honest with you.
And one that wasn't left out in the yard.
Right.
what did you think of the lampshade?
I power washed with that thing 2 weekends ago,
Yeah.
or last weekend,
No.
and got shit everywhere. Power washed the house, the fence, the driveway.
Nice.
You're
That's
about power
summer.
washing instead of your review.
Do you know what hops went into the Vertigo?
I do. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Let's see, we use Magnum, Cascade, Sterling, Amarillo, Simcoe, and then we dry hop with Centennial and Sterling.
Damn.
A lot of hops.
That is a lot of
Do you
hops.
use like pelletized?
Yes,
hops?
we use the pellet hops.
Okay.
Yep, even for dry hopping.
Not to interrupt, but also just because we're talking about it now. Like, do you guys on the Vertigo especially? Because he was saying there's not a lot of aroma, and we learned this from our last brewer. A lot of your aroma comes from dry hopping afterwards. Did you guys do a lot of that with the Vertigo, or do you?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
We try to
I just
give it
love
a good
learning as
aroma,
much as I
but-
can about the
Trying to
process.
time
Like I
it.
said, Tate brews. He's the only one out of the 4 of us that really does any brewing at all. He does home brewing. But it's always just cool to learn, like, why does this beer taste like this? Why does it smell like this? Like, what is
Right.
it this note? So.
Right.
Magnums? What? God damn it, David.
Chris, did you give your review?
Not yet.
Let's do that and ignore David with his blasphemy of Tate.
I would categorize this of more of a dry IPA, and it's one that I actually appreciate more than the rest that I've had. I've maybe had a handful, maybe 6, 7 of the IPAs to where it's more hop focused rather than like the citrus aroma and bullshit that's usually combined with hops. I don't know if I would buy this as far as like it being my drinking beer for the night or whatever, but I'd appreciate it. Like if somebody goes, hey, I got Vertigo in the fridge, you're over at my house, whatever, you want one? I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna go like 6.5. It's not excellent. I don't like desire it, but if it's there, I wouldn't shy away from it. So those are my feelings about it.
You said 6.5?
Yeah, 6.5. The labels are badass. I don't know if I'd buy it. I got mixed feelings about it right now.
Okay, gotcha. Like I told you, man, we got tuned out.
Yeah.
You guys. So.
That's
And
good.
I hate to be the other guy. I'm going to have to agree with the exact same score. It's not that I wouldn't want to buy this. I would want to buy this, hands down. As far as an IPA goes, it is crisp and clean. It's just, IPAs aren't my type of beers. If I was forced to drink one, I would probably choose this one if it had lemon.
Fruit.
But no, it's not bad at all. It actually has a very good finish. The hops flavors to it, I don't know if it's particular hops or which ones you brew more with, but they're very mild. They're not overwhelming. They don't saturate my tongue. They don't
Piney,
saturate my
but it's
mouth.
not like
They don't
overbearing.
linger. It's very good. Actually, you know what? Now that I speak of that, I would go with a 7. If I bought an IPA, I would buy this IPA. How about that? So there we go.
Wait, what did I miss? Who gave it what?
I gave it
6.5
a
with these
6.5. Jason gave it a 7.
Oh, 7.
What did I give it?
You gave it an 8.
You gave it an 8.
There it is.
Yeah, he said you gave
What
it
did
an
I
eight,
do
so
10 minutes
congrats.
ago?
Now, before it disappears, I'll answer
Yeah.
Jeremy's question there. Infusing the hops at all? The only thing we do is we put hops in the boil and then dry hop it. So that's the only kind of.
Now, dry hopping.
He's
He's watching the comments like we
Oh,
do.
dry hopping. Okay, dry hopping is when we put the hops in either during or after fermentation. So when you put it in the boil, the longer you put hops into the boil, the more bitterness
You get flavor-wise.
But are you
gets into the beer.
pouring it through the dry hops into something, or are you letting it sit with dry hops?
No, we put the hops in a bag, stick it in the fermenter, and let it sit.
Okay.
Like a
Yes.
steep.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
a muslin bag.
Exactly.
For
Yes.
how long?
4 days.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Then maybe
Okay, so
And it's at
the
room
Vertigo,
temperature during the whole time, so none of the bitterness.
Yeah.
is
So
being
Vertigo,
imparted.
Vertigo's start to finish. If you were going to do a batch of this, how many days does that take then?
We're looking at shortening it a little bit, but right now it's between probably 12 and 14 days.
I dry out my Cedar Prom dates.
so. Maybe you can answer this
Jesus
for me.
Christ, dude.
Can
Dogfish
we
Head, they have a
choose?
60-minute
Oh, cheers to
60-minute
that.
IPA and a 90-minute, which is it says it's their dry hop time. Is that actually how long they
No,
dry hop?
I-
That can't seem
If
reasonable.
I understand
for
it
4
right,
days.
from what I've heard, what Dogfish Head does is they have some sort of contraption.
Mhm.
They put all their hops in, and it's like an auger, and they continuously, because I think on the label it says continuously hopped ale, right?
Mhm.
They continuously add hops to the boil at a certain whatever they do, but it
Interval.
just keeps going, and it just keeps adding hops nonstop
Oh.
throughout their whole process.
Interesting.
So,
Sounds
okay,
terrible.
so they
So
do that.
as-
They do that. They do that for 60 minutes. They do that for 90 minutes. They do that for 120 minutes.
Which is their $50 4-pack
Correct.
beer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you
So
think
now-
as the most saturated hops get used up, they're going into
God damn it.
an exhaust barrel or
What does
something
that say?
as the new
I
ones are
have.
getting added?
I have no idea.
So that it's
I
constantly
mean,
fresh?
I don't know. If I was gonna do it, I would say that they would just stay in there, and I mean, the hops just kind of dissolve and just stay in the beer. I assume they just stay in there because it's all liquid and just all kind of in there.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna do my review real quick. No, okay. So the Vertigo IPA, I've had this before. It's one. Actually, I think the Vertigo is the first one that I picked up when you guys got here to Salina. Because I'm a big IPA guy. I love IPAs. This flavor, and I kind of realized it just tonight because I was like trying to describe it without saying the same words that everyone else did. It has a good dry flavor. All the hoppiness and the aroma is good. This kind of reminds me of one of my first IPAs that I tried and I really loved to begin with, which is the Voodoo Ranger by New Belgium. This has a lot of I think to me, a lot of similarities in it. I think the hoppiness of this is a lot more like strike fast, kind of go away, which I kind of enjoy. I don't like a lingering flavor on any beers that I have. I like to be able to taste it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, and then like when it's done, it's done. Like kind of clean palate once you're done drinking it. I love that. But no, I mean, maybe an IPA guy.
In your own hate a little bit.
This is good. I will say, anybody who's out there, if you get a chance and you stop into a store and you get a chance and you're kind of an IPA and you're kind of not, the Grand Illusion is fucking amazing, and this one is really, 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 really good.
Ooh.
I just feel like this compared to the other.
I forgot that. That was,
What's up, Russell?
What's up, Russell?
How was that Jalisco?
But I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than Blanc. I like the flavor, man.
That was as good as Jalisco's chimichanga. So
Yeah.
right there.
I
What are the
love the
differences
punch of this, man. It's so
between
good.
your two IPAs.
Sorry. So the difference between the Vertigo and then the Grand Illusion is the Grand Illusion's kind of it's kind of a newer style. It's a New England style IPA, which it gives the hops are added later. So like we were talking about dry hopping, it doesn't have the bitterness. It gets a lot of the flavor and the aroma. So you get a lot up front and you get a lot of the hop flavor, but you don't get bitterness on it. So that's why
You're not
it's so
adding
much
them at
easier.
60 minutes.
So
or
that's
zero.
what I probably don't like too much is the dry hop.
No, you
When it
do
comes
like
to
the dry
it
hop.
being very dry, taste wise, or is
No, you like the Grand Illusion more than this, yes?
yeah.
So you like the dry hop, you don't like the hops necessarily. In the
You don't
pour.
like the bitter that starts at the beginning of the boil.
You like the
Correct.
dry hop.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Because when you brew beer, you can, depending on what you're going for, you can add hops as soon as it starts boiling, or you can wait 30 minutes and only add hops for the last half. And it's going to give you more of a New England
Right.
style.
Right. And that's kind of how you get more of the aroma, kind of adding your hops later in the process.
And less bitter.
Right.
Less bitter.
Right.
Yeah. And this Vertigo at 68, right? That's a pretty significant IBU rating.
Yeah.
So that's bitter.
I like the 40 to 50 range.
I've learned.
But that's more of like a pale ale, right? 30 to 50, 30 to 45.
That's pretty mild.
I feel like, they're not a pale ale isn't locked down to a classification of
True.
IBUs.
Right.
You can every beer can have a range of IBU ratings, but it just depends on the kind of what you're going for.
I will say that I've noticed when you're talking about bitterness, working at the liquor store, if I'm going to people and they're just trying out craft beers, they don't really know what they're looking for. I'll ask them, okay, what do you normally drink, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, this, and this. I always kind of ask them, like, how do you take your coffee? Do you like it straight black? Do you like the bitterness of that, or do you like cream and sugar? Because if you're a black coffee drinker and you like that bitterness of your coffee, like IPAs and stuff aren't gonna bother you. Like you're gonna love that.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, all the cream and sugar I can get, I'm like, I'm gonna tend more towards like a milk stout or something like that. Like,
Or give you a
Right.
fucking
And
sour.
And we've had a good amount of people come in the brewery and try the Grand Illusion. You know, they go, I don't like IPAs. I'm like, well, try this.
one.
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of people like it then. So hopefully it opens up, another style that people can look for.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't.
I will say, we've had it on cast before. You guys' Wonderlust. I mean, we're not drinking
Love
it
it.
tonight.
Love it.
It's amazing. Okay, actually, that's a question I have. One of my favorite beers, and it's mainly because I can get it on tap anywhere here in town. And it's just one of those ones that I kind of fell in love with when I started drinking local craft beers, is the Warbeard, which is an Irish red. Your guys is a Scottish red. Is there a difference between the two?
It didn't start out like that, but we kind of tweaked it.
Okay.
We use a Scottish ale yeast. We put heather tips in it, which is a Scottish herb or plant.
Okay.
What was it called?
They're heather tips. They kind of look like alfalfa. They got little purple flowers, so we put those in there. It kind of gives it a little bit of a floral kind of aroma. It kind of makes it a little bit different. So yeah, it was honestly sitting there going, we have an Irish red. Why would anybody put ours on tap over Warbeard? So let's make Scottish red.
No, I mean, honestly, like, I would say you guys is equal as good. I mean, they're both amazing beers, but I
What's
just
the
don't know the
Scottish
difference.
red called?
The
Wanderlust.
The Wonderlust.
It's a Scottish red.
It's a Scottish red. And that's why I was saying the other reds that I've had or known of are all Irish reds. And so I was like, what's the difference? So, now I know.
So that Wanderlust T-shirt that you were wearing earlier, are those available for resale at?
Yes, and so was this one. That's why
Yeah.
I bought them.
I saw that
This
Wanderlust
is by
T-shirt.
far the most informative episode ever. Love it.
That Wanderlust
Thanks,
T-shirt, I was
Adam.
like, damn, I love it.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
Something
those
about
those
it. The green with the
yeah.
the
those
yellow.
just came in today.
Oh.
So that's why I
Somebody
was
can wear
wearing them. And that's why I'm wearing this one.
And he changed because he was
Right,
throwing
because
the
it's green and I
screen.
was different
Yeah.
colors.
The Wanderlust
If
is
you
like
got
a
the
green
picture,
color.
you
Yeah.
show the camera in the
I
back.
can do, yeah, so
Or-
this is in my
Let's
hand.
do it now.
I don't know. It's our Vertigo shirts. I don't know. Can you see?
Vertigo IPA.
It's got the logo
I
on
want
it.
one of both in large.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
send me a
He's got-
bill
he's got the
and also
sweet,
ship them to me,
yeah.
and I'll pay
See,
for it.
and we also picked up some women's tank tops,
I'll take some of those too.
right? And we're working on
For him.
hats. So
Sweet.
I'll take a hat.
yeah,
Just go ahead.
got
and-
it.
No, the
Just have
Wanderlust
a
shirt,
care
guys,
package.
I would say like we would show it to you, but it's like a giant blur with the badass logo of the Wanderlust in the middle, just because it's green and we work with a green screen. So
Blair,
he was like invisible. He was a
Realm
floating
is
head with like a Wanderlust torso.
LM, but how deep would you go in the realm of brewing? All ingredients allowed.
Where is it? I'm looking for
That's
it.
deep
How
dark web
deep would
stuff.
you go in the realm of brewing all ingredients allowed?
He's gonna be in Belgium
If there were no
during
regulations,
No regulations.
Wait, what's
If everything was legal.
Oh.
Brewfest style? He'll be underground in Belgium. Brewfest style.
Yeah.
With the boot.
I don't know. I don't like getting too super crazy. Not like putting cheeseburgers or anything in your beer or anything like that. I don't know.
Would you use sweat? Would you use blood?
Probably not.
Are you asking if you trunchable the fucking cake right now?
Would you?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just
Would you use
creative.
sweat? Would
Right.
you use blood? Would you use semen? Like, would you use stuff that no one ever wants in their beer? Any of it? Would you use poison? Would you use?
Right.
Would you
I
use
don't know. I
dragon
kind of
blood?
like. I don't know. Kind of like a white stout or the blonde stout. I kind of like doing that. It's like a stout that's super different. I kind of like going down that way.
That's
or
very
somebody brought up
interesting.
avocados. That's a great idea. I love avocados.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be
it's a
original.
hot
Nobody's done
It's
that.
very.
food
It's,
right now.
I know it's very millennial.
Nobody's
show
done
me.
avocados. You'd be the first, man. I don't think anybody's done avocados.
No, I've never heard of an avocado in the fucking 90s. Now everybody's eating shit. Everybody's fucking eating it.
But nobody does avocado
Wait,
beer.
how do you
that
feel
I've
about
heard.
brunch?
Brunch. Yeah.
So, I will officially,
Twice a week.
not next week, but the week after next, I will officially invite you to a Sunday morning brunch,
Yeah.
which
Where-
is at Blue Sky Brewery.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll be there.
Yeah, no, we should totally make this happen.
Yeah.
It can't be this coming Sunday, but maybe it could be the Sunday after next,
Yeah.
or anytime after that. But
We'd love to buy you brunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brunch.
Sure.
well, you
sounds-
talked about being a
Sounds a
millennial.
little
Well,
gay,
yeah.
guys.
That's,
Okay, so it's one. Okay, so
It's
it's
not
the.
gay at all. It sounds-
But they have the build your own
sounds
Bloody
very
Mary,
business like.
Build
Or-
your own Bloody Mary bar,
or the bottomless
mimosas.
mimosas.
And not
Bring your
more.
wife.
And.
Let's
both?
fucking.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can do
Yeah,
both.
brunch.
Well, you can do both, but I'm saying
Let's
I
get there
wouldn't.
when they open. It's packed. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. It gets packed.
Adam said, "Do you do tours of your brewery? The only one I've been to is
Tate's.
Tate's. I think it'd be cool to see the workings."
We don't have scheduled brewery tours. If you walk in and we have time, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But you walk into the brewery and it's all open. You can
Yeah, you're pretty much
see,
touring
you
it
can
as
see
you're there,
everything
yeah.
the way it goes.
Yeah.
Who needs a beer?
Are we doing
What's
the next one?
Yeah, let's get the.
Ooh,
The
the
label.
secret.
Do
The
it.
secret.
Secret
I love
sauce.
the secret beers.
And I remember, I was like, oh, I gotta look at my notes. I don't remember. It's the Thesis 3.
Thesis 3, yes. So Thesis 3 we have on tap at the brewery.
In the white
thought
can.
T-
You
Three
can't
was the
get this
new
canned.
term.
This is canned
This is version
only
3.
for us.
So
Fuck you guys.
going back with our family history, you know, back to Martin Luther, we are our barrel aged and specialty beer series, as we're calling the Reformation series. So we're
Purple
naming
Baron.
all of these our Thesis series. So our Thesis 1, I think, was a double IPA aged on birch wood. Our Thesis 2 was smoked imperial stout and whiskey barrels. I don't care nothing. Our Thesis 3 here is our Broadsword Scotch Ale, aged in whiskey barrels.
Fuck.
High West, High West
That's what
distillery
Jimmy messed up.
barrels. So
Wait, High West?
yes, High
Oh
West
man,
barrels.
we've had some High West shit.
Yes, and
I'm gonna say.
pretty soon coming out, between now and 6 months from now, will be our Thesis 4, which we put our Vertigo IPA into tequila barrels.
Oh.
Yes,
That'll
very
be
excited about
interesting.
that. So
IPA tequila. That's outside the box.
Whoa,
Yes.
it has a T3 on the side.
Yeah.
Yours does.
Wait.
The rest of ours
Welcome
doesn't.
to
been
the,
paying
welcome to the
attention?
show.
Yeah, welcome to Thesis 3.
Hey,
Fuck.
get your fucking can in here, Neff. There's a spot right
I
here.
don't know.
Adam said he'll fight you, Neff.
For what? For
I
what?
hope it's just for nothing.
For what? Okay.
We don't even
Oh
need
no,
to-
because I said fuck you guys. I said they gave us the T3 just in case, just for us, not you guys. Fuck. I get it now, Adam. Okay.
We
yeah, I
we wouldn't
deserve
even nobody would bet on Neff.
And
We just
Blair
know
No.
said, "Fuck, give me a cheeseburger beer, no mustard."
that. Yeah, mustard would make the beer a little bit different. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
These beers.
hey, this is
tonight.
Purple Baron. This is I should be all about this, but I'm probably not. I don't know.
So there's also no promises on the quality of this beer because we took it from a keg and
Bottled it.
put it on our
Right.
canning line just to see if we could do it, and they're very uneven and
Can we review this right away?
So-
Jeremy says if you do make an avocado beer, I need my name on that.
I'll have to find a name song name with.
So like anything that says something like douchebag or like gay boy. I don't. No, I'm just kidding. We're super nice to our cast,
Our
like,
viewers?
Our viewers. This is Jeremy in general. Me and him are close enough.
So you serve this on tap regularly, though, right?
Yeah, till it runs out. Mm-hmm.
It's spicy. I mean, I'm getting like tingles and different flavors all the way down. And this is, you said it was bourbon barrel aged in High West barrels.
Correct.
What does that mean?
We fill up a few High West barrels with, they're 53-gallon barrels. So we brewed, basically a half batch or a full batch. We could fill 4 barrels of it.
So does High
How do you?
You can hear fucking Julie laugh about that shit. That's amazing.
Sorry.
Sorry, we have obnoxious laughter sometimes.
Uh,
That interrupts.
So how do you just basically have to like contact them and be like, hey, we would like to like age.
We didn't contact them. There was a guy that a guy who buys barrels and then says, hey, I've got these High West barrels. Do you want them? We go, yes, we do want them.
Yeah.
And so then just
Nice.
pick them up.
So is
Okay.
High West a reference of quantity, like the amount of volume that you can fit in the barrel, or the type of barrel that it was used for previously? What is High West?
High West is a distillery out
Oh, okay.
in Utah,
So
Park
Ballast
City, I
Point
think.
has used those too.
Well,
That's why
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a High
Ballast
West.
Point has the High West Victory.
Yes,
Sea.
it's a brand. It's a
So
Gotcha.
this would use the same type of.
yes. It's they put their whiskey or whatever they do in the barrels. They dump them, and brewers buy them.
This is
Nice.
I like this more than the Victory at Sea High West.
Same here.
That one.
Same here.
Holy shit! That beer
This is
was
so smooth compared to that.
It's like drinking
Oh, this is
pure
a
gas.
million times better. Yeah.
What do you guys do with the barrels when you're done with them?
Piss on them.
To be honest, we haven't finished using our barrels yet.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we've used these. I think we're on the 3rd time we've been using
and they
them.
continue to impart
Yes.
the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Same
still
flavor.
pulling
Oh wow,
flavor
I thought it was like a
Yes.
one and done.
Damn.
Yeah, and we were unfamiliar with barrel aging, but we kind of got with some people, and we're like, no, just keep using it until it's
Doesn't taste like it no more.
right, pretty much. So,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's badass.
but yeah, that's why you don't see
Cherry
half
Blaze
barrels
says,
at Walmart
"Okay."
anymore to put flowers in. I mean,
'Cause
they're all
no,
they're all being bought up by
yeah,
breweries and
I've
being
heard
used.
there's a demand for different varieties of barrels for what their original intended purpose and what type of wood they were made out of.
Mhm.
They have varying degrees of demand, and
Mhm.
most of them never make it to anything other than secondary use by by beer brewers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. I was like, I want to make a beer barrel coffee. thing
Hey,
one
my
day.
dad just joined. What's up?
If you guys are brewing beer with it.
What's up,
Right.
Papa Schreiner?
It's from the last part of your brewing because you age it in there. So how can you quality test it before then to know whether or not that barrel's going to impart flavor?
We just put a nail in the end of the barrel and just keep sampling it. Be like, oh, needs to be on there a little bit more.
Nice.
That's about it.
Huh.
So yeah, throughout the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we
this
just
is
keep trying it.
This is determining the amount of time that you want to
And
Okay.
receive
Yes.
the beer
So
in.
then, okay, so
There's
you
not
get
really-
to that perfect point, and then you're like, okay, let's hit the cake with it, or how does?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we bring it over and we keg it.
now
As
you
soon as
said
we think
it's
it's ready.
bourbon barrel aged.
I think so.
High West is a bourbon, yeah.
I think so.
I believe it's bourbon barrel.
I think
yeah.
you're right.
I
Can we
mean,
review this now?
sure.
Before
Start.
you
I'll
get too
go
drunk?
first.
Start.
Before you get
Fuck.
too drunk, or what?
No, nobody's putting
No, this is my favorite bourbon barrel aged fucking beer so
Yeah.
far.
Woo!
It's not overly powerful like I'm drinking a shot of fucking liquor. It's well done. I don't know what percentage is it? ABV?
9.
9?
What was the base beer? Like
It was our
I-
Broadsword Scotch Ale. It's our Broadsword. We kind of have just made off and on, but seems to be popular enough, and we put it in barrels. 'Cause why not?
I think these people or these breweries that are doing aged stuff out of barrels need to take note and go a little less ABV and a little more drinkability and flavor. If people want liquor, they can buy fucking liquor. that's my stance on the thing. Like the last ones we've had on the show, last what 4 or 5, I've hated. This one's fucking awesome. As a bourbon barrel aged beer, I'm giving this a fucking 9.5.
Nice.
And as a beer overall, I'm gonna
Chris
give it
is
an
the
8.5.
sleeper coming out, man. Listen to that.
I love that Chris said this, but when we did the
This is like a Tank 7.
where
but
they
it's smooth.
bourbon barrel Gosas from Hydra, he was like, I fucking hate this, and I don't know why anybody would do this.
Wait, were we talking?
This is the kind of honesty we're talking about. Because they were live. Bud was live with us from Hydra
I'm
up
not.
there in Sioux Falls.
I don't
and he's
lie.
like, "Fuck
I'm an
this."
honest dude. Like
At the same time, though,
What?
they could be growing on you because we've been expanding our own.
Expanding your
He's like,
horizons.
no,
At the
fuck
same
that.
time,
Drugs
this
and
beer
college?
is not that great.
Is that it?
I like it.
I'm joking.
It's got some plum to it. I think it's dark and heavy, but it's not heavy on the stomach. It's smooth still. It's kind of watery at the same time. It's got a lot of spice to it. It reminds me of Tank 7, but it's darker and not as like wheat looking by a clarity value. I dig it.
So you
Please
say
don't
plum,
mention Tank 7.
or I mean,
That may be me just saying plum.
I mean, I get a similar kind of flavor to it.
It's
mean-
like one of those.
Is there any
purple
fruit
fruit
aspects to
flavors.
it either?
You have to give me a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind.
We'll all give you a little bit.
He's gonna
Thank
get
you.
home.
We'll
Yeah.
both all
He's like, I'm trying to get
do-
home tonight. You son of a bitch.
He's being so good,
Fucking
so
Brad.
good.
Dark and heavy knees weak, moms.
Don't
Forget it.
That's good, Brad. That was the best comment of the night. You
That's,
just won.
Uh,
Oh, I gotta love that for a second.
No, there's no fruit aspect to it. I can't.
I'm sorry, Jeremy threw me off.
I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what malts we did, but I almost want to say it's a special bee malt that we put in this, and that special bee malt is really unique and gives that kind of plum kind of flavor to it, which we really like, which I think really imparts a good flavor just to the base beer, and that might be what you're picking up. But
So that's just in your Scotch ale, right?
The
off bat?
base, yeah.
Okay, awesome. No, that's awesome.
That's my favorite bourbon barrel aged beer I've had,
Purple Bear.
no doubt.
All right, take you.
Dibs.
And if I hated it, I'd give it a fucking 3. You know me.
I know you. You wouldn't care. He's so nice saying like 2. Just look him in the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking
we got some very rare barley wines, and he was like, I don't understand this, and I hate it, too. And he's like, this was like really rare and a special treat for you guys.
This is like 2
this
years
has been-
old,
yeah,
and he was
we've
like,
been
"Fuck
aging
you, I hate
this."
this."
I'm gonna throw up in my fucking
Yeah,
mouth.
fuck you. At least you didn't puke his beers up.
Who's next?
Me.
We're all kind of malts, I think.
I'm trying to gather myself here. So it wasn't until Chris said plum that kind of like it was like the epiphany in the back of my mind. And I remember when we had Bud from Hydra on our cast, and he sent us a care package, and oh man, he blew us away
Dark
with
plum
how much
sour.
stuff he sent us and how well he packaged everything. But one of them was part of their Resurrection series, Plum Sour, bourbon barrel aged beer, and
It was like a 3.9 too, wasn't it? Like it was.
well,
it
no, it wasn't as low as some of the other
strong
ones. This
at
one was a
all.
little stronger than that. But I had
Bottle's
never
still
had a beer that like had intentionally had a plum flavor like put into it, and it really was very good. And I get that here, but the fact that that was unintentional on the other side of that is really crazy. That
Yeah.
kind of flavor is what has come through.
Especially when he said they didn't even fuck with plums or anything.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just the malt.
It's part of the malt. Small world,
Hey,
ain't
Sarah,
it?
what's up?
It's kind of the.
What
the shit, that's a small world, ain't it? As far as bourbon barrel aged beers that we've
You're
had,
shaking that thing a lot.
Yeah,
Like, it
I
just
feel like it's so
flashed
close to
to the rim
spilling.
like 3 times.
Oh my gosh, piece of shit.
this is it's manageable. Some of the bourbon barrel beers that we've had, the Purple Baron beers that we've had, are just like you can only have one of them. They're so
Barely.
in your
Yeah,
face, and they're so like overwhelming that like you wouldn't want to drink more than one. But
Which I'll do a small disclaimer. It is 9%. I've said before, so I appreciate you saying you want to drink more than one, but
Yeah.
I recommend you be careful.
Yeah, probably don't try to do more than one. Yeah,
But a lot of breweries try to go the 13%, 14% route if it's legally okay
Allowed
to
in that state.
distribute it.
Right.
And that's too much to me.
Wait,
That's
what
a
happened to
fucking-
ours?
27 proof beer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
beer.
nobody
Right.
wants that
Right.
for a beer.
And you said I forgot to bring it up too. We're doing our. We have a lot of our barrels right now have our Bulldog Stout in them. I think we have 12 barrels with it in there. So we're doing a whiskey barrel Bulldog that we're going to be bringing out here sometime.
Nice.
And like you said, a little bit lower alcohol. It's just our 5.5%, 6% stout. Put it into whiskey barrels. Bumps up the alcohol a little bit. It's maybe 6.5. So yeah, barrel aged beer.
I would say
under
legally
7,
wise, especially
under 8.
Kansas, you have to test that, right? To test your ABV once it comes out of the barrels.
Yes, and how we do that is we just kind of look back and see what that recipe original gravity was, and then we just take it out of the barrel and
And I
see what
think
it
you
is.
can reach
Yeah,
those people that only drink whiskey, like literally nightly or whatever, daily, and give them that taste, but they don't get shit faced or blacked out. They just like the flavor and look for it, and they don't have to find it in a bottle of fucking.
He has to drive. He has to drive tape.
taste, just so his palate doesn't get dry.
It's his beer. He has it on tap.
We don't
This
want
is
his
a treat
palate to
for
get
us.
dry.
Yeah. No, okay. You want to go next or you want me to go?
Wait, did I ever
Okay.
give my rating?
No.
Or did you all fuckers interrupt me so much to where I couldn't?
You said
You've been
13.
doing this forever.
What?
Go. You love it. It's really great. It's one of your favorite beers now.
Wait.
3.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, plum. I love plum. Plum is my favorite thing ever. This beer is awesome. 3.5. Is that right?
That was the old Tate. New Tate is more of a
4.5.
He
Or
says
a lover.
4.3.
The last plum flavored thing that you did was your first 10. So that was
It was
show's
high.
only 10.
It was high. It was that one really was amazing. And this is it's similar. It's different, but it's similar. I think I'm gonna go with an 8.
Nice.
Am I the first one or?
Chris
No,
went
Chris
first.
has.
What do you
Man, you all right?
I've
I'm
been
gonna
drinking
ride
for a
home.
while. All
Yeah.
right.
He told
You're
me.
gonna
He
be
said
right
one
home, yeah?
of the things I love about your beer is it's gonna be drunk. He said that very early during the blonde stage.
You're gonna need to ride home, yeah.
I might.
Yeah.
I might not ride my bike home.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Okay, I'm gonna go next. So this is a bourbon barrel aged Scotch ale, which sounds fucking intimidating. When you said that, I was like, oh god. I'm the Purple Baron of the cast because I fucked him one night and said that instead of bourbon barrel. But
you said the same thing multiple times that night.
Yeah, I did. Elder made the fan art.
Oh,
of
I
it.
loved it. I loved it.
But no, this I totally agree with Chris. This is super smooth for what it is. Like the flavors are still there. You still get absolutely. If you like, I really love bourbon barrel aged beers of any sort, and you love that flavor. Absolutely. If you can get down there and get this while it's on tap, while it still is, he says when it runs out, it's out. Like you're done.
Shield.
Go down there and get some because you'll love this. The best thing is though is it's it's
Oh,
he's fucking
back.
Sit.
Okay. He's just excited.
Yeah, he's excited as people here. But it's not overbearing. It's got the full body flavor. It's got the palate. It's got everything that you want out of that beer. But it's not so much to where you're like, holy shit, what did I get myself into? It's enjoyable. I guess I would say that because a lot of your bourbon barrel, like you're like, okay, this tastes like a bourbon barrel. I get it. I want to get drunk, whatever. But like, you kind of have to force yourself to drink a lot of it. This you can easily just kind of do. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 overall as well.
Nice.
Because like actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I don't think that I'll ever taste like another bourbon barrel that is like this smooth and this drinkable. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Not unless people take fucking notes.
Yeah.
Take note.
Yeah, Ballast
Take
Point. 'Cause I
note.
know you're watching. Like, no, they're not watching.
You got shit
No,
to
I'm just saying,
learn.
like, honestly, this is gonna be a 9 for me.
It's the
Because
subtle
I-
art. You
you'll
can't
never
just be
taste
keeping
something like
shit in
this
there for
smooth
10
and
months.
have
I want you to go.
bourbon barrel.
I haven't gone
He's
yet.
last. He's last.
Yeah.
I went before him.
I am gonna have to be an asshole.
There you
It
go.
sucks, and I don't want to do it. It does taste very smoky. I appreciate the smoky flavor to it. I don't know if that's it. Was that intentional? Is that part of the barrel? Is
It's not part of the barrel. I can't remember if we put a little smoke in the Scotch ale. I want to say we did a little bit. So
that part tastes very good. I cannot get the hang of anything that is bourbon barrel or whiskey barrel aged. It imparts that lasting flavor in the end, and it leaves that alcohol linger. Like if you just did a shot of whiskey, it leaves that in my mouth, and I don't like finishing my beer with that taste. It's, I mean, I guess if I did like a Guinness and a Jameson, man, you know, expect that, but I don't like that linger at all. And it's not you. Please don't take it as you.
No.
It's the whole genre. How about that? They all do that, and I get the reason why it's there.
Nope.
It has a certain flavor profile, and yours does absolutely hit those flavor profiles. It's not my flavor profile. So it is very good. Don't get me wrong, and please don't mistake that.
I want you to
It's
apologize 3 more times.
It's just not my type of beer. It's not my type. I think I mean, over the course of the show, it's not
This
for
is
me.
Tate hate, baby.
I've never owned by a bourbon barrel or whiskey barrel aged beer. I'm gonna have to give it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No.
If I had to drink it, I would turn to this to drink
No.
because it is very mild and it's not as overpowering and it's not as overbearing. For me, it's a 5. I would drink it as I'm doing now. I will absolutely finish this, but it's just not something I would seek out because it's not my type of beer.
Yep.
But
makes sense.
it's good. It's got very strong flavor profiles.
Honestly,
So
I like that.
as they mentioned down the line, it has very distinguishable flavors, and they're all very good. But it's because they're distinguishable that you can taste that barrel age, and it's just not.
Don't
it's
feel
not
bad,
anything.
bro.
Yeah, just not your cup of tea, man.
So
That's how we do.
Wait, whoa. One more. One more real
I'm
quick.
sorry to disappoint you.
There it is. I'm sorry,
too.
I'm a disappointment,
all of you
Dad.
too.
Oh.
I just not whiskey.
Just super quick. We love all you guys for viewing in, giving us comments throughout the night, giving Ian questions as well as we have. We're gonna keep going for a little bit too, but I just want to give you guys a huge shout out for always viewing in. Giving us an audience to interact with. We could get drunk on Tuesdays without you guys easily, and I'm sure at some point if you guys don't tune in, we're still gonna do that. But no, we love the fact that you guys do. You guys share. You guys do the likes. You guys, tell your friends about us. We love that so much. And like I said, we get local brewers, wanting to be on the show. Ian's our second local brewer. He's our third brewer overall. We were lucky enough to have him on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, we're not done yet. We're not going to let you go this easy, but we're not going to keep you super
awesome
long
guest.
because he has to.
Like Adam said,
places
there's
to
a
drive
lot
back.
of information out of this video
Right.
that you don't have to give.
But no, we love the fact that you guys are here. You guys make us keep doing this. And the fact that we get a chance, like,
Sit.
4 dudes sitting on a couch just drinking beer,
Sit.
wouldn't get the chance to have Ian be like, hey, yeah, I'll definitely drive, 30 minutes out of the way to come drink with you guys. Like,
Right.
we just wouldn't get that. And I think a lot of it has to do with everybody who's joining in and watching. So thank you guys so much. And again, I'm going to say it a million times. Thank Ian for showing up. For showing up and joining us and being willing to come on
So
cast.
now I gotta ask, do you have any hobbies outside of your main hustle? What do you enjoy doing?
I've actually talked
What do you
about
enjoy
this
doing?
because brewing was my hobby and now it's my profession, and so now I need
A new hobby.
a new hobby.
Like
And
being a gynecologist.
sure.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think that's how that works.
But
No.
yeah, I don't really have another hobby right now. Need one.
My dog
I
likes
guess.
you.
I know. I probably smell like another dog.
Chewy
Sad
loves
dog.
meeting new guys.
Yeah.
You should,
He
if
hates
you get
women,
a chance,
but
I
he
don't know
loves
if
me
McPherson
guys.
has it, try rock climbing. I
Rock
love
climbing.
rock climbing.
That's Chris's new thing.
I'm gonna
Not
say
new.
try the Village.
Well,
Peak.
not super new, but like he started doing it, and now that's his thing.
I mean, I started doing it in Atlanta when we lived there fucking 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I love it. So I do it when I can.
Adam, you should buy his
The
beer.
closest place from here is Wichita. So
See, he does that when
And
he's
Julie, yes,
I
Julie
get
is
Dunkin'
very
Donuts
persistent.
and then coffee and then the board
Thank
game
you, Adam.
store.
Hello.
Julie,
Supporting
sit down.
big
Bam,
show.
bam,
Oh,
bam.
boy. Usually growls at
Chew off.
people. And if you don't want them there anymore, just tell them to fuck off. Or tell me and I'll tell them to
Hey,
fuck
what's
off.
up, Will?
See, there you go. There we go.
Will is
I'm gonna buy his beer now.
What's
Will's
up,
a brewer.
Will?
That's the whole
He
point.
doesn't currently have a.
Alright, off.
I don't know how you
Good
would say
boy.
this. He does brewing with his friend
Good boy.
Kyle. If I'm mistaken on any of this, Will correct me. And they have Smash Brewery. They're based out of Wichita. And they're getting ready to like start their own brewery and stuff like that down there. So Will, yay, what's up, man? We have Ian here with Three Rings Brewery, out of McPherson.
BC Cunningham. Hey
So-
Ian, interesting conversation. Need to stop by and chat soon.
Sounds good.
So, was it scary to start your own business?
Slammed Brewing. I'm
How
sorry.
worried
Um,
were you as somebody who, hey, I've worked these jobs, now I'm gonna go open my own business at a young age?
I guess I wasn't. No. I wasn't too nervous. I never have felt, and even still now, I don't feel, just that dread like, oh my gosh, what if this fails? I kind of feel like, no, sat there and went, I'd rather do it and have something terrible happen or fail at it than just completely not do it at all. I hate
And
myself.
regret.
And regret not doing it.
Fail fast, recover
Right.
quickly.
Right.
My bad.
And so really I've never felt, a fear or a dread of I guess failing, I guess.
You say that, but you have a kid, yes?
I have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids.
Right.
That's my biggest fear. I was ready to conquer the world until I had my kid, and then I was like, oh, stability.
Right.
Stability.
Right.
Stability.
Right. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I kind of just have gone in, I kind of knew I needed to go into it going, I can't be afraid of failing, because if we do, it's fine.
Fuck that door, huh, Chewy?
Chew, come on.
He's like, you didn't even close it, man.
Chew, come on. It's fine if everything goes up in flames, because I'd rather have done it and knew that I could do it than just not do it at all.
And you still have
And
time
hate
to
myself
recover.
for it.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, and you still have time to recover. You're not going to sit on your
Right.
deathbed and say, man, that brewery sure did suck. You're going to be
Right.
like, I'm glad I did the brewery.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I'm
Exactly. And I think
I'm
that's
tempted
fine.
to leave my job every day because of that principle.
No, I totally agree, man.
I wish I would
It's
have
one of
worked
those
more.
things, like,
No, like,
jump out and do what you want to do.
regretting not
And then
just
Ian did it,
pursuing
you know?
what the fuck I want to do every day.
Right.
Whether
Also,
I'm
anybody
broke or
who's just
not.
joined in, we got a couple of viewers that I think weren't here. First off, if you guys have any questions for Ian while we have Master Brewer here, absolutely shoot them this way. We might not immediately get them to him because we're kind of drunk, but we'll get to them.
Speak for yourself.
Ian's been paying attention with us. He's starting to realize, like, hey,
Yeah,
watch
he's like,
those.
there's the
'cause
comments.
He's like, I got 4 drunk assholes around me. They're missing some of this shit. So.
You guys want to respond to that real quick?
Which
hey,
one?
hey, can you guys catch someone? No, he was.
How do
he
you
was
how do
an
you
Ian
like being
impression.
on the show?
I love being on the show. You guys are fun to...
You having fun?
Yes, I am having fun.
You should absolutely
I really
come back
am.
again.
I
At
should.
some point where you can match.
Was it
tape
weird
drink
and
for drink.
uncomfortable as fuck at first?
Huh?
Was it weird and uncomfortable as fuck at first?
No.
No?
No?
Okay,
No.
cool.
I was
Pretty
fine with it.
welcoming, like
Yes, very.
You show up, you walk into a dude's basement, and you're like, man, there's nerd stuff everywhere, and a giant green tapestry behind me. What am I
Right.
If I had to imagine a rake gun.
Again, the only thing weird was when I came in with the green shirt and I'm
Yeah, and you're
Sorry.
invisible.
Oh.
Yeah.
no. Right.
Which, I was going to mention that earlier. All the other cans are sparkling away, even the bottom ones. The white ones, done. They're just there.
Start.
They just stick
Solid.
out,
Special reserve just for us.
which is why they're on the top.
Also, anybody who gets a chance to get up to McPherson, down to McPherson, wherever direction you have to go, that's Thesis 3. It's only on tap while it lasts. Bourbon barrel aged, or what was it? High West bourbon barrel aged
Yes.
Scotch ale.
Right.
Ooh, you
Jenna,
made it-
what's up?
It was your broadsword.
Christ,
Oh, hey,
Do you actually
Jenna.
serve just the
Oh,
broadsword?
Christ.
We have once. It was for a festival in McPherson. We brewed a whole batch of it, and they bought a shit ton of kegs, and then it rained like 3 inches. So we ended up, I know, it really sucked.
Oh.
And so we sold it out of the brewery, and it went over really well, and so we just kept making it every once in just one-off
Really?
batches.
So does your broadsword Scotch ale have anything to do with Great Divide's Claymore Scotch ale?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
All right, just making sure because
Yeah.
they're so similarly named and they're the same type of brew.
Wait,
Right.
Broadsword
Well-
and Claymore?
What
I've had the Claymore.
what when you get a pallet of cans in
Mm-hmm.
and you go to can it, label it,
Mhm.
and outsource, what process is that? Like, do they get sanitized? What?
So
Give me the rundown.
our
From the
cans
pallet to
our cans-
Yeah, we
Yes.
haven't
six
had
pack.
that yet.
our
Okay.
cans come in stacked, 8,600 to a pallet.
And we
So-
saw that. We saw that
Right.
there.
So we have to split them in half to make it more manageable.
Uh-huh.
And then our machine, we just run a sanitizer through them. They go in 3 at a time. They get flipped over.
3 cans at a time.
3 cans at a time. They get flipped over, sprayed with sanitizer,
How many minutes?
drain, flip back down, and then they just keep going. Our canning line does 20 a minute.
Okay.
I think we can get up to 21, 22 a minute.
One every 3 seconds.
So yeah, I mean it's almost a case a minute. We can do a 7-barrel batch in roughly
Hey,
2
Jody.
hours if
Hey, Mama
everything
Shriner.
goes well.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, to me, and like I said, I think this is maybe, and it's still blowing my mind that you have outreaches, you know, all the way to Colorado, all the way to the eastern border, and I mean, like you have outreaches all over Kansas, and just seeing, and it's because I don't understand how it works, just seeing that one canning machine right there as you walk in the door, and I was like, how the hell are these guys pushing out as much beer as they do with this one? Because it looks like a small machine. It was, ask Chris, that's all I could talk about. For the most part, I was like, man, these are awesome beers. But also, how the fuck do they do it? Like, it's
How
just
many
blowing my
hours do you
mind.
think you put in a week?
A week? It really depends on the week. If I'm brewing really heavy, shoot, I don't
And do
even
you
know.
guys have orders to fill, or is it more like let's produce and then?
That's
the
usually what it's
sales
been.
come
It's
in?
usually been produce, and then they come in with the orders. It'd be really nice if they push in the orders, and then we could brew
Help with
accordingly.
projections, right?
Correct. But I mean, we're still small enough that I think we can just keep on making beer,
Uh-huh.
and they just come in and, hey, do you have this? Yep, come and get it.
Awesome.
I mean, again, I've said before, we've run into issues where it's like our Vertigo is selling really well right now, and it's when are you going to have it? Well, it takes me 2 weeks to brew it, so give me 2.5, 3 weeks before you can pick it up, which stinks, but at the same time, it's kind of.
But the fact that there's that demand, is, you know.
Oh, all right, it could be a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah,
worse.
that's awesome.
So was jumping into this whole process for you, was it all of it or most of it expected territory because you'd worked in the industry before, or was it like there's a ton here to learn still and I was here and I need to be here where I
Right.
thought I was?
I don't know. There's always things to learn,
Yes.
but I did, going in, I did think I had a good, more than average understanding of what it took to,
Like, what was
good
expected of you,
beers.
kind of?
of me, I don't know.
I mean, like, as a brewery, I guess.
In McPherson, I don't think anything was quite expected of a
Okay.
brewery in McPherson.
Okay.
But I don't know. But it's a,
Hey, Trace.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it was my own expectations. I was confident in myself that, you know, we can make good beer.
Mhm.
We have the quality down. We know what we're doing. We're not just jumping into it pretty blind. We know what we're doing and just kind of going from there. So I felt that as we, you know, like I said before, we had longer than expected issues opening. Once we got past that and started, we can, okay, now let's just make beer.
Yeah.
So I guess a bit of a personal question. When you went into, I'm going to say the industry,
Mhm.
this industry, was it I need to learn this or was it I need to learn this to open a business? Because those are two very different mindsets. Like I want to know this or I want to be good in this industry or I want to have my own part of this.
I think it was learning it because I wanted to know it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's things coming up that I have to learn because I'm in the industry. But brewing in general came up as I want to do this. I want to learn how to do it. I want to know how to make good beer and good recipes and stuff like that, not just, in order to get into this and open my own place someday.
Okay.
So it's
I
a
need to
hobby
learn
that
this.
has become a career. Basically.
Correct,
That's
yes.
awesome.
Adam
Adam,
said,
says, can you get your beers in McPherson? Oh, I mean, do most of the beers?
Do all of the bars in Mac carry your beer? Most of them do.
Nice.
I think, all of the.
how does that work? How does that work?
The
When,
distribution.
when you get into...
Our distributors are really, really good at making our beers available. I should do a better job going out and doing, sales and saying, hey, we've got Thesis 3 out, you should buy it or whatever. But yeah, that's our distributors are really, really good at.
But from a business standpoint, they go, they've got a keg left here, you need to give them one or whatever. You know what I mean? This bar's running out of your Vertigo, for instance.
Right.
Like,
Make them a priority, or is it just
Um,
hey, first come first served?
I
that
guess
work?
Buy from the
I
distributor?
don't know. The
you've got your
distributor says-
staple beers, right?
Right.
Okay. And those are in your Mac bars.
Right.
So,
Are you asking me like every once in a while does a bar come up and be like, I want to have Thesis 3 and that's just send it to me
yeah.
kind of a thing.
Or we're almost out. How do you plan for that? How?
Imagine it goes to
It's the distributor. You have to go through the distributor.
Okay.
And again, they do a good job of always keeping some on hand so they can they don't run out when I run out. And then just kind of.
I'm not trying to
go
get too
from that.
nosy.
No.
but
I mean, it's
just curiosity.
just
you
the
know?
way it goes. It's
So, I've had an argument with multiple people in this cast and multiple people I work with. How long does beer last? What's the expiration date on beer?
What's up, Tanner?
It varies. It really does. I mean,
But it does have an expiration date.
yes,
Okay.
it does. That's
Thank
a
you.
very important thing to remember.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Does it have an expiration date, or does it just get you way more fucked up and possibly kill you?
I don't think so.
Because my dad has some beers from like the 70s that are like Coors Light. I swear I want to drink one day.
No, don't.
I wouldn't.
Especially Coors
You'll
Light.
get botulism. Like that's what happens.
Especially
This was
don't
the
drink
70s.
Coors
It
Light.
gets exposed to air in your throat, and it just kills you.
Don't
Okay, I won't
drink
do that.
Coors Light.
I mean,
even
there
if
are
it's
some
70
beers
years
out there that get better with age, but even those beers
Still,
still
eventually.
Die.
Right. And there's a lot of brewers out there. I've even noticed that even on their
Kill
bottles,
fucker.
they even start
Best
putting
Buy
like
state.
they even put like drink fresh,
I've had a couple questions.
or don't age. They intend it to be drank when you buy it and put it in your hand and go to your house.
Is that
Not
just
just,
for flavor?
Yeah.
Or
Will
is
says,
it all
Will says
for-
drink it immediately, not those 110 Bud
It's
Light
probably a little
days.
bit of both, but I think most of it is, the breweries want you to drink the beer and what the brewery thinks is when it tastes the best.
Great.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Will,
I win
speaking
this
of,
argument,
when are you going to
fellas.
mail us those beers from when you and Kyle are on? We're going to have your beer. We have to have Slam Brewing while you're on. Just think about it. Anyways, we'll keep going.
So,
I want free beer for
are
you.
you
That sounds
are you living your own personal dream? Is this what
Yeah.
you foresaw?
nice.
You're living the dream then.
Tank starts crying.
Fucking A.
Hey,
Fucking A, man. He's living the dream.
what's up, Kay? We're drinking
That's all a
beer
man can
tonight.
ask for right there.
How do you convince your wife to let you do this?
All
That's the real question.
these guys are like,
She's-
finally, the real question.
She actually, I don't know. I didn't do too much convincing. She actually pushed me a
Nice.
lot to actually, it's if you don't do it now, it's never going to happen. And so that,
We're gonna have
Okay.
another kid. You either
Got
open
it.
this brewery or you don't.
I know, right? I know. So no, she's super supportive and really good at
Great.
pushing me to keep going instead
for
of
her.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah.
Like when we first thought about doing this, we wanted to do it in Wichita, and it was maybe 2 breweries in Wichita, and it just wasn't the right time. We couldn't get the funds or anything, so we laid off it for a little bit, and then just everything just fell
That's
into
good.
place.
And,
Yeah,
and the
maybe
thing is it kind of gives you that that unique recognition. Like, you guys are the only ones in McPherson. You guys are like,
the top
Right.
dogs. Like,
Mhm.
so no, that's
Agreed.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
it for sure.
And I can't remember.
It gives us
but
another
what
market
year
in
did you
Kansas,
guys
man.
open? Because I can't remember. And for
We opened in 2016. Our 2-year anniversary will actually probably be in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Oh wow.
So I want to say like June 6th. We'll be open for 2 years.
you guys are killing it then.
So doing as expected, lower
Oh,
than
yeah.
expected, better than
According to
expected.
our
You can.
business plan, we're exceeding our expectations.
Great.
Nice.
What's up, Brent? What's up, Charles?
Especially when we started canning. And
How's your
say,
business efficiency? Let's talk about that.
what?
He's like, fuck you, shut up.
That's my beer. No. Well, like last year, I think we did about
fucks and drink with them.
325 barrels last year. I think we'll do close to 800 this year.
Wow.
Fuck
So-
That's a huge increase.
Very
Hell
big.
yeah.
Very good.
Jeez.
Very. So,
Hell yeah.
So are you
Really
thinking about
happy.
expanding at all?
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know where, but yeah, I mean, we're just throwing out ideas to try to
Cool.
maximize our space and go from there.
So do you have difficulty keeping up with the demand in the liquor stores?
A little bit when we first started canning, we did. I mean, I think it was new. It was over the holiday season. I mean, we put cans out right before Thanksgiving. We were
So you're still within your first year of canning.
yes.
Yeah.
We're in our
Holy
first
shit.
almost 6 months. November or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 8 months, 9.
6 months.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
Cutting
awesome.
edge.
Yeah.
I've
So-
supported. I've bought at least 4 6-packs of
I,
Three
for
Rings.
one, am very
bought-
fond of. Oh,
Yeah.
we got a question from.
Oh.
Have you ever brewed anything that you were like, damn, this is gross? I can't sell this?
Same question as earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I like dumped it out.
Have you ever brewed anything and you're like, damn, this is gross, I can't sell this?
Or maybe even something that maybe sold, but you personally didn't like it. How about that?
Good questions.
He's like, no, wear this shit. Fuck you.
I don't think I don't think we've ever brewed a beer that we felt like we wouldn't be able to sell that wasn't ruined or bad by some reason. I think we've
Right.
always been
Like,
able to
it-
brew
like,
beers that.
anything that
Somebody
you
will
brewed-
like this shit.
Well, that was
No, but-
I learned that.
Yeah.
at
Anything that you
Tallgrass,
brewed
it
and
was
like it was what you intended it to be, you were okay with. But
right.
like you said, the thermometer went out. It fucked
Right,
with the batch.
right.
Like you couldn't do that. But
Right.
that wasn't like what you intended to do.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, and that was a lesson I learned when I was at Tallgrass. We made a beer, and I think it was a seasonal. We discontinued it, and some guy came in, and he's like, I can't find this beer anywhere. I have to buy it. Do you have any? So we go look in the back corner of the cooler and up and wherever. We find one case of this beer. It's like 9 months old. We're like, you can have it, but it's 9 months old, and it's
Yeah.
crappy.
He thanked you
I
for
don't
He
wanna
bought
hear
it.
any
He bought it,
bitching.
and he went and favorite beer he's ever had. So it's kind of one of those. It's nice to know that almost, hey, I can make this beer. There's gonna be somebody out there
Right.
where this is the
Mhm.
best beer I've ever
It's like
had in my
music, where you're like, who listens
Exactly,
to this
it's
shit?
a
And you're like,
fucking
it's
art.
somebody's favorite band.
life. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
It's an
absolutely.
art.
Man.
Right.
That's perfect.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's the perfect example. Like music and beer. Like,
I almost touched on that earlier in my last review on the bourbon barrel. Like, it's not for everybody, but as long as you poured your effort into it, somebody's gonna like it.
absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect.
So, you are the craft brewing scene. How long ago would you feel like that started or became strong? How about that?
In Kansas,
In
or
general,
in
and then
general?
in Kansas.
in general, I really, oh man, I don't know.
Because it would've
I'll
been
I'll
before you
say
started
that
brewing.
I do feel like with my time up at Tallgrass started doing Tall Boys. I think they were ahead of. They got into cans right when they needed to.
Right.
When cans were starting to get going, and I really think canning has
Canning over
gotten
bottles?
more.
You
Yes,
think? Okay.
gotten more craft beer to different places, which makes sense because it's canned.
Cheaper.
And I think it's really expanded.
It makes more
Areas.
sense, but I think taste out of a bottle is way better. But that's just a personal preference.
Right.
Cans make more sense, like across the fucking
Mhm.
board, except for taste to me.
Right.
Well, here's the thing though. Also, I've read, on several different things.
You know, the cans are essentially in an essence like a miniature keg.
Yeah.
Where you're getting
They
that
keep
freshness.
light out.
It's sealed.
Mhm.
It's light out. Like so. Like
Light is like
Doesn't get
beer's
skunky.
worst enemy,
so you
right?
so you prefer the taste
Right.
out of the bottle, but is that the actual real taste versus a can? The real can might be that real taste that you're missing out on.
But you're also you're brewing them in what, stainless?
Yes.
And then you're putting them in aluminum, so it's still metal. You're drinking out of a stainless can, that'd be fucking heavy, but you're still getting the same kind of properties, maybe.
Yeah.
You're not transitioning it from stainless steel to glass. That's
Hey, what's
a
up,
big,
Darren?
big change.
But tall grass, tall boys. Boom.
Yeah, and I don't know, it just kind of felt that, and maybe it was because I was there and we were just making a ton of beer at the time. But it really felt like, you know, the craft beer scene, especially in Kansas, I mean, really started coming together. I mean, locally here, I think the craft beer scene within the last 4 or 5 years has really blown up.
Yep.
Especially in Wichita.
That's
Kansas
right
is
around the
always
time I
late to
moved
shit.
here.
So
From the
Right.
coast, Kansas is like fucking 5
Right,
years
and with
behind.
that same thought, you know, I've kind of made a comment. You know, everyone's like, oh, you know, craft beer's getting saturated. We're like, well, Kansas still probably has a good 10 years before it
Right. No,
gets
absolutely.
saturated or anything.
Exactly.
So,
So
but,
how does that work with banks? I mean, I'm assuming you had to approach
Mhm.
a bank for financing.
Yeah.
And were you just like, I want to open a brewery, and they're like, no. Was it just
some
having
of
a good
us, some of
business plan?
us, a couple of them were kind of like that. You know, we asked them if they'd be interested. They just said no, we wouldn't be interested. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. But then some, I know we talked to one that was kind of like, this was our plan, and then they kind of brought up, well, why don't you go a little bit smaller? And we're like, well, then we're gonna buy a brand new system in like 3 years. So what's the point?
Right.
Yeah, go big out the gate.
But yeah, I mean, some of them were really supportive and trying to make it work with us, and wanted to see a brewery in McPherson. And
Did you have to bring them your beers?
yeah,
Yeah.
we had to get them really drunk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Middle
Now
of the day
sign.
on a Thursday.
Now sign tonight. Do it tonight.
100,000? Oh,
Yeah.
that's.
But there's
Keep
a lot
drinking.
of,
Maybe we can
Yeah.
go up a little bit more.
Sign it
but there's
now.
a lot of the success come from your pitch and your business plan,
The business plan was
rather
really
than
solid.
what
yes.
you have as assets and shit.
Yeah, the business plan was really solid. Which
Yeah.
my dad, he took a class and wrote the whole thing out. I mean, multiple people told us that it
Okay.
was super solid. And like I said before, I mean, we're
Because we've
above.
talked as a group about coming out with our own type of shit,
Mhm.
or like brewing on the side to expand the BBS
Mhm.
a brand. Like who knows?
Persona.
Maybe one day we make our own shit,
Right.
and we're partners with you guys
Mhm.
or competitors. Who knows?
Mhm.
Just,
You calling them out right now, Chris?
it seems
This is
intimidating.
Chris calling you out.
It
No,
just,
Yeah,
the
I
whole
call 'em
process.
shit.
I'm just kidding.
It
It's
seems like one of
awesome.
those things like, I don't have any strong
Booze.
foundation here. I have to sell an idea.
Derek and Hydra.
What's up, Derek?
Take the
Hey.
beer from the keg and put it straight into the can. We're new to canning, small scale at the moment. Yeah, again, looks like you just joined. Well, I tried that with these thesis ones. We took it from the keg into the can, but yeah, I could only get maybe roughly two cases out of a keg before we'd have to switch it. We only do 6 barrels.
What's up, Derek? By the way.
But yeah, I mean, I consider us to be pretty small scale.
I think
Canning.
Hydra's more bottle oriented.
Yeah, they
Okay.
normally do bottles.
I mean, that's
yeah.
all that.
Some of the ones up top there.
Well, most of it.
Yeah.
But
They had some really fucking good beers. I can't wait to go to Sioux Falls. We need to schedule that shit, fuckers.
Damn it, we do.
God.
Derek, I saw
If we
your.
keep going at
your-
the rate we're at, it's gonna be fucking next year.
I saw your message today, and I want to come, but these fuckers are so inflexible with their times.
yeah,
What's
Derek's
shit going on?
You're the one who's on
like I said,
vacation
our
every
first,
week.
Our first brewer that we had on was all the way from Sioux Falls.
We
And we've been talking
webcammed
about
him
going
in,
up,
like I
and
told you.
Derek's
Mhm.
super all about us coming up, man. And we're gonna get there sometime, man. We will. But
Yeah, we're like an aged wine. They only get better with time.
And if you know
Except for Jake, he
guys
gets
or
worse
people
every day.
that frequent your brewery often or love your beer, like tell them about us and we'll webcam them in. And like we love special guests, we can have them not drive up or whatever and webcam them in and have fun. Shit like that. Like maybe you have this crazy cool guy that's smart and he's got his own niche
So
And
Yeah, we love brewers, but we also love the guy who's like, he's got his own fix on something else. too.
We did one of my favorite episodes was the guy who does Smoky Hill beard and mustache stuff.
yeah,
Perry.
he's all about beards.
It was awesome. He talked to me about beards for like 35 minutes. It was great.
So the question begs to be asked. We're at an hour and 59 minutes.
Yep.
Ooh.
30 seconds from 2 hours.
We're there.
Yeah.
At
We're at
our-
the cusp.
So if there's any questions at the tip
Last
of your
minutes.
tongue that you got to get out,
We got the all-knowing
Damn
Ian
it,
with
screw
us.
responsibility, just come to Sioux Falls.
Yeah. Fuck your
Oh,
adult
they're moving to
heads.
Cairns now. Did you see that?
Yep.
We're moving to Cairns.
Yep.
Smart move.
Oh, actually,
all-
okay, this is a completely off subject, but talking about canned beers, because they're mainly, no, they're mainly bottles. I totally take back everything I just said a second ago. Mainly bottles. We're getting ready to get a very close brewery, Kansas territory. Yeah.
moving to Abilene. Yeah.
So, that'll be exciting. And we'll talk about that next cast. We don't even
I
talk about
like
that.
Three Rings way better than Kansas
Oh,
Territory.
I mean, hands down.
Jesus Christ.
I really
They
do.
do
I
have
hope,
summer
I
shady.
hope,
like the
I
roller
hope we don't
chain
ever
lager.
get one of their brewers on here
Roller
when they move to
chain's good.
Abilene, and they're like, hey, I remember on episode 41 you guys were talking about like mad shit. And we're like, well, step up your game. Because 3 weeks is fucking killing you guys.
Roller
But-
chain lager is
so-
fucking phenomenal.
Really
The
like the
rest,
roller chain.
There's summer breeze. I like the summer shandies. Are you guys gonna do
Hey,
shandies?
will you guys make a lager that will blow their lager out of the water? Just for me.
shandies?
Just one time.
Have you
I'm
had
sure
fun?
you can.
Me?
Have you had fun?
Oh, I have had fun.
We're right at 2 hours. This is usually a killer.
Yeah.
He wants shandy. He just wants shandy. No, hey,
Standard
maybe.
has lemon in it.
Are we going to do
Yes,
wrap ups?
people
Is
like
that what
it.
we're doing
Or
right now?
grapefruit.
Okay.
Or
We're trying
orange.
wrap ups. I don't think there's any questions.
Nope.
Why does Tate suck so much? No, Brad, that doesn't count. I said for Ian, not for everybody in
No,
general.
if you have to impart one piece of wisdom to everybody before you go, what is that one piece of
Oh,
wisdom?
jeez, I don't know.
No, you got it.
What?
You
about,
got it. You're
about
doing
what?
something that's
about
you want
life.
to do,
Life?
About
that
life.
you like to
Oh
do.
God!
No,
You've got
life.
a
You're
good-
now a messiah,
you-
according to Jason. I don't know what's going
You
on.
seem to have
Life.
good personal life,
Hey,
good
what is the
professional
symbol of the
life,
red hawk
good
on
blah
your hat?
blah.
Huh?
What
What
was
is
it?
Oh, this hat? This is Red Crow Brewing Company out of Kansas City.
Okay.
Oh.
Boom.
Never heard of them.
I like it.
I
See,
never
you
have either. I'm gonna
represented.
check them out.
Yeah.
Boom. Red Crow. Ian likes them. You better.
Tonight's show has been one of the best guests I think you've had so far.
There you go.
I agree,
Good
Adam.
job.
Thank
Very
you,
much
Adam.
out there.
Thank
Thanks for
Cheers.
tuning in.
Thank you.
We'll have you on the
And we
show.
have had some awesome
I might or
guests.
might not be here. But
Why
you
do
can
you-
rock it.
So,
You want to do a communal?
Why does Tate suck so much?
I don't think it's
It's
that
the
bad.
hat. It's the hat.
We got a lot of take hate, man. That's the
Yeah,
thing about
it's
it.
alright.
Anyways, let's
You
give it a
can share
cheers.
that shit,
That's
that's alright.
cheers.
It's alright.
Hey,
I
we
want
want
to impartial wisdom. Imparting wisdom. There it is.
Yeah.
we get some chat with them afterwards. We want to thank Ian from Three Rings Brewing. McPherson Kansas coming up. He's
It's been a hell of a
amazing.
night.
Buy his
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah,
Do it.
absolutely. He's answered so many
Do it.
questions. He's given us so much information. He's been super cool to hang out with. And we had to do everything that we could not to like talk to him before cast. I felt kind of awkward, but we were like, "Fuck, we gotta
Yeah,
save him
we
for
had
cast."
some moments where I was like,
But no, we want to thank all you guys for viewing in. Hey, Derek, Adam, Will, if you're still on here, Julie, Sarah, all you guys. You guys are awesome for tuning in every week. If I missed you, I'm not meaning to. I still love you.
Derek, you guys should come get on the show. We'll make room for fucking two right
Yeah.
here. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Oh.
If you want to get on the couch, if you want to Skype in, do it.
After we go
yeah, we
down
can
for
webcam
the trip, we'll
too.
bring you guys back, and then
Put
you guys
you each
just,
on your phone.
Uber
I can
back, rent a
webcam
car.
both of y'all.
Something.
back.
Same shit.
Anyways,
Kate was talking about that
we're gonna
earlier.
give one last hoorah. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Brews Bros and BS. Love you
Brews
guys.
Bros BS featuring
Thank you.
Three Rings Brewery.
Ooh, wait.
Ian.
Check them out.
And maybe we'll get some stickers or something to give you guys away if you can answer all of the questions that we asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
there
answer
you
every
go.
single one of them.
There's a big one for you. Yeah.
Love you guys.
Some sort of
Bye.
promotional something.
Peace.
There you go.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Will.
If you want a small Brews Bros BS shirt,